pick it up. They're not. Welcome back to TokyoFresh, only on the TokyoFreshPodcast Network. I'm your host, Jordan. I'm here with David.
Hello.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm.
I burst into David's house mid cleaning. I'm like, David, set it up.
I hadn't planned on like taking a shower. I'm like, I should probably take a shower, and then I'm like, maybe I should turn off the light. Maybe I should
Presentable.
In some capacity.
I mean, that was kind of me like this morning because obviously yesterday we went to a wedding. We'll get into that. Fantastic wedding, beautiful celebration.
Almost hit the stinger again by pressing the space bar.
Careful, boss. I
That
believe
would
in
be
you.
bad.
So what happened? Yeah, so we went to a wedding yesterday, really, really nice. But then before we went to that, weddings are very long, very tiresome, very tiring, I should say, not tiresome. And so I think I went to bed yesterday really, really early, like stupidly early. Like I went home, took a nap, woke up again, and then I was like, no, I can't sleep. So I was up to like 5 a.m. just like,
I was up till 4 a.m.
bro.
Yeah.
I was
I
in
went to
bed.
at like 4.
Do you know what happened as well? Like, so we'll get to the wedding part in a minute. We'll put a pin in the wedding. But after the wedding, I go home, I take a nap, I wake up, and it's like already late. It's like 10, 11 o'clock. And I'm like, what do I do now? Because I'm wide awake.
Right.
So I just make tea. So I'm drinking like this nice hojicha chamomile blend of tea I got from Kyushu. David, amazing. It's so good. So I'm drinking that, I'm relaxing a bit. I'm thinking I should do something, play a game, relax. And I jump onto Switch because there's like a new Game Boy Advance emulator. And I find the greatest Kirby game ever made.
Which game? I have to like what?
I forget what it's called. It's the one with the telephone. Hold on. It's
The one with the telephone. Kirby
Kirby.
game with telephone.
Yeah, GBA
GBA.
telephone.
Amazing Mirror?
Yes, Amazing Mirror.
I played Amazing Mirror.
Dude.
Amazing Mirror's pretty good.
Such a good, honestly, really, really good game. I think, so I'm jumping to the game for a little bit, and I start like, you gotta run through different mirrors, and all the mirrors like mirror into different levels, different points. So like, it's not like stage by stage. It's kind of stage by stage, but every single stage is like interlinked, apart from like the last boss stage thing you need. And I'm playing this game, and I go through the first section. I find like a piece of the mirror shard you need to like get to the final part of the game. And I'm like, oh, it's pretty easy. I'll complete it in like a couple hours. And I'm going through this game, David, and I'm like, no, impossible. The maps in this game rival some of the games that are being made today.
Is it like what's it called? It's just like labyrinthine, like everything. It's like a Metroid where everything connects to everywhere, and you gotta backtrack and all that stuff. Yeah. I vaguely remember playing this game because I did play it when it came out. But
yeah, very true. It's good. There's I know there's a part of the game I'm collecting like items and things are like coming back to me, and I remember there's somewhere in the game where you can like change the color of your Kirby because you get like spray cans. And there's a section of the game you could go to. I'm not there yet, but you can like change the color of your Kirby, change like background music and stuff. Like it's
right,
pretty,
yeah. Because
it's a
there's
big
like
game.
4 different color Kirbys, right? Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. the best part of the game, I forget which one is which, but you hit the right trigger. You hit the right trigger, and you got a little Kirby phone, and you can call up these 3 other Kirbys. And these 3 other Kirbys,
okay,
yes.
Yeah, now this is coming back to, like, this has unlocked the
so
memory
cool
in my brain.
These 3 other Kirbys work on some weird, like, AI computer system where the Kirbys aren't just, like, standing somewhere. They're always, like, roaming around the maps as well.
They're doing something, yeah.
They're always doing something. In the corner of the screen, you can see, like, whatever powers the Kirbys currently have or, like, whatever they're doing.
Was that a sound?
What?
It was like a beep sound.
Could be me.
Actually, I bet you brought PS4 turned off.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. So you can just call up the Kirbys. So I was fighting one of these bosses, and I'm like, oh no, my life is low. If I take one more hit, I'm gonna die. Better call up the fucking gang. And you just call up, like, the Kirbys, and they, like, access through this random, like, star door. And they do this weird, like the Kirbys, like, kiss each other. Have you seen that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that's been in Kirby games forever.
Adorable. Like, kiss each other, you gain your health back. Then the Kirbys are like, all right, who we fucking up? And they just, like, start going ham.
I assume that it's, like, that's what it's supposed to be. Like, it's supposed to be kissing. It's weird because it makes like that chew sound.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
Every time. It's an adorable game. I was playing it on the train on the way to David's house, and, like, as I'm playing, I look like I'm sitting in the corner, and I look over, and there's, like, a guy, not a child, like a fully grown man, just staring down at my game, and just like, nice. Fucking, I remember this game. Like, that was like the eyes he was giving. It was cool.
They made, like, HAL makes a lot more games than I thought they did.
HAL? Yeah.
HAL.
They make a bunch, honestly, and they're all really good. Like, there's a really interesting thing about the
last couple Kirby games. No,
pretty shit. Yeah.
Kirby Forgotten Land's pretty good. That came out.
Is this the last one?
Last year. No, Kirby's Return to Dreamland came out. Came out this year? Comes out this year?
I think is it already out? Kirby.
Oh no, it's Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe.
Deluxe.
Comes out. It's a remake of the one from the Wii. So
apparently it's good. 7 out of 10, 5 out of 5. Like,
there you go.
I mean, really good game.
Kirby games are, like, kind of just all good in general. They're not, like, amazing games, but
they're just good. For me, like, playing like a really good Kirby game is all I need is, like, a vast map, an adorable, like, backdrop music, some good, like, side games you have them, a nice theme, and then a final boss, which is the embodiment of all children's terrors, and that's a Kirby game.
Right.
That's a Kirby game. It's that simple.
The end of the universe as we know it.
That's a Kirby game. The entire game is just like, oh, I'm gonna kiss my Kirby friends to, like, get some energy back. Whoa, I've got a sword. I have to fight this adorable looking enemy. Shusha. Then you get to the final boss and it's like, let's go.
It's like some Nightmare Cthulhu horror
Literally.
from beyond the beyond.
Yeah, Nightmare Before
100%.
Dreamland's final boss was like the embodiment of, like, shadow and chaos, and you got, like, fight it twice. I'm a child.
Like N64, you fight, like, that weird, like, I was gonna say Oopa Loopa, but that's Japanese, like the oxalotl looking, like, thing with the eyeball, and you like shoot it.
Yeah.
Your final boss is Dinosaur Hitler. That's another one.
What the fuck?
And then there's God, what is it in the my favorite one?
Yeah.
I think in Japanese it's called Kirby Super Deluxe.
Yeah.
I think
Super Deluxe?
I think it's called Superstar in the English. Is the one that has, like, it's like a whole bunch of games on, like, one cartridge. So there's, like, the original Kirby remade, and there's, like, the one where you have to, like, go into, like, the huge interconnected dungeon and find all the treasures.
And it's the creepy the weird clown thing.
The weird clown man, at the end of Milky Way Wishes, where he, like, eats the star and then, like, grows weird bat wings and, like, becomes dismogrified, and there's, like, a move that he does where he splits his body in half and becomes a black hole.
Yes.
Weird.
Yes. I don't know what it is with Kirby games. I think the creators are like, any child between the age of 1 to, like, 10, they're going to get to about level 5, stage 5. Then they're going to lose interest, or they're going to just, like, fuck around playing the old stages, or they're going to get caught on this one level. We put up a wall, and you need a certain power to break down the wall, but that power doesn't exist in this level. They do that a lot.
Did you ever finish 64?
Yeah.
64 is good.
It's
like,
a good game.
There's some, like, weird lore in the Kirby 64 game where, like, one of the planets is called, like, it's like the ice planet, but it's, like, very identifiable as Earth. Like, you can see all the continents, and it's just, like, frozen. You're like, okay, so Earth is in the Kirby universe, but it's frozen over.
Yes. Which adds some great lore when you go to the future Kirby games, like the Forgotten Kingdom or something.
Yeah.
And everything's like,
here's cars and stuff and vending machines.
Because like, this is like 1,000 years later, and everything is like thawed out.
Yep.
Which is why there's like cybernetic gorillas and shit. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Kirby's honestly great game, great lore. Like, just a fantastic game.
My issue with Kirby games mostly is that like they're too easy.
They're so easy.
So I find like because there is no challenge, I kind of just get bored.
Yeah.
As much as I like everything else about them, I always feel like I get bored.
The only thing that keeps me entertained, apart from like just like this one's pretty good because like it's got the whole puzzle Metroid dungeon system, which is really fun to like try and navigate. And then there's a lot of new powers in this game. There's a power just called Smabura. That's the power up.
Okay, yeah.
It's just Smabura, and you just have the moveset of Kirby from Super Smash Melee.
Super Smash Brothers.
I got it once in the game, and I was like, "Is this just Melee?" And I was like, because like Kirby's like my main in Smash. I was tearing through levels, and I was like, "Okay, this is
cool,
bro.
I don't remember
fucking fun." Same. I remember that at all.
Did you ever play? Not to like derail it.
No.
More Kirby talk. Did you ever play Canvas Curse?
Kirby Canvas Curse?
That one's weird. So that one's the one on the DS where Kirby's like
one?
a ball and you have to draw the lines.
I played a little bit of that.
I love that one. That one is super great.
Wait, I need to hold on. Canvas straight away. Yeah,
I wish they remade that game for Switch because it is a touchscreen. You could do it the same way. I mean, like, I don't think the second screen really did much.
No, yeah. But still, it was cool. Do you know what I did by accident? I remember this game because I remember I was buying... What game was I trying to buy on the DS? I was trying to buy... Ooh, not Canvas Curse. It must have been Squeak Squad.
Squeak Squad, the one after.
Yep. I wanted to buy Kirby Squeak Squad. Great game, very fun. And I ended up buying Canvas Curse instead. And I was like very confused. Because if you want Squeak Squad and you get Canvas Curse, it's very confusing.
Canvas Curse is so different. It's
very different, yeah.
It's like... I put it up in that tier with like the weird Kirby games where it's like Canvas Curse is one of them.
Yeah.
Kirby Ball is the other one.
Kirby Ball's pretty fun actually. Yeah.
Kirby Ball was a game I wish I owned for Super Nintendo and then never owned, and now I do own it.
It's the whole thing of going back and being like, what did child me want? And how can I heal?
And how can I get... Well, you know, when you can buy them in Japan in box for like $10.
$10.
And it's like pristine, then why the fuck not,
I
right?
remember like I was flashing I have a couple like random games that I bought just 'cause I was like, these games look interesting, I'll buy them. And I was like posting them on like Instagram and someone was like, oh my god, you've got the super rare in box, I don't fucking know, Japanese Mezrashi game, whatever. And I'm like,
they're not. Yeah, it always. I think I've talked about this before, but it always boggles my mind because like I'm a little bit of like a PlayStation head when it comes to like RPGs and shit.
Yeah.
So like when I go to like just my local book off and I see something like Valkyrie Profile, which, like they made like 10,000 English copies of that game, and there's just like 5 copies in pristine condition, and they're like $2, and I'm like, how what? like this is one of the greatest RPGs ever.
It'll be like. Not only like the greatest game you've ever played in your life, it will be like in pristine condition. When you buy a game from a store and it's like sealed, it'll be like still sealed, like tape intact, original price tag still on the disc and shit. Like it's crazy how pristine these games are sometimes. Like I'm kind of like 100% down for it. Like it's fun. Any retro game head who's not been to Japan, I'm always like, guys, you're wasting your money buying stuff out of Japan.
So currently, the English version of the game, how much do you think it runs for on Amazon?
You said there was 10,000.
I don't know if it's like 10,000, but it's a limited run.
In dollarinos?
Yeah.
In
USD.
Oh god, in USD. Fuck. In USD,
this is one with a cracked case. I mean, obviously you can switch the case out, but like getting those old jewel cases for the PlayStation is kind of hard.
Yeah, they're kind of hard. Let me think about this. I'm gonna compare it to Gotcha Force in terms of money. I'm gonna say it costs 200 freedom bucks.
Nope.
More or less.
Not even close.
Am I too low?
You are too low.
Oh, for fuck off. Seriously?
Way too low.
Way too low?
Way too low.
Wait, hold on. Gotcha Force price. Let me see what the Gotcha Force price is to get a little okay, well, Gotcha Force goes for like 500 fucking dollarinos. Okay, I'm gonna say I'm not even close. $600.
You're close. You're really close now.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Am I still too low?
Yeah, you're still too low.
700?
Too high now.
Oh, 650.
Yeah, 650.
There we go. Fuck. Wow.
650.
Wow. Wait, hold on. What's
for a
that
game with a cracked case?
Let's do a $650 to Japanese yen. If you can hear that,
that's right now. Oh my God! Has the yen crashed that much?
It's really bad.
9万
Yeah.
7,000. Almost $1,000.
What's the current $1 to 100 Japanese yen exchange rate? I think last time I checked, it was like $1.
$1.50.
$1.50?
Oh, the yen is so bad.
What is it? Check pounds. Oh my God. I think it was 180 something yen to £1.
Is it British pound?
British pounds. Was it GBP or something?
Oh, Great British pound.
Yeah, Great British pounds.
Ghanaian franc.
Find me the
euro.
pounds. No, fuck the euro. I don't know how much that's worth. Find me the pounds.
How can I not find it?
Find me the T shekels. I can ask. I'll find it. Try to find out.
Is it just
£1 to Japanese yen? Normally GBP. I found it.
A pound sterling. Here it is. £1 sterling is 186 yen.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Fuck. Oh, the yen is so trash.
180. Like, I was gonna go home for Christmas. Sorry, family. You guys already know I'm not coming for this reason. I was gonna go home for Christmas this year because I was like, I saw the family last year. I would like to see them again this year.
But I will never financially recover.
I will never financially recover from going back to the UK.
I will put myself into literal debt.
Literally, David, I will put myself into crippling debt.
Yep.
It is. It's not even a case of like, oh, it's going to be a little more expensive. No, I live in London, so I'm going to go back and it's going to be expensive to just be there. Like, existing in London is expensive. Like, you think the trains are here nickel and dime you. Go to London. There's no stealth about it. You ride a train, someone robs you, and then TfL robs you again. It's that simple. Transport for London. It's. I can't go back. Tickets alone are going to be expensive. And then once I get there, it's going to be like an extra, billion yen to live a week.
Yep.
Can't do it.
Yeah, it's funny now too. Like because I just put in like Valkyrie profile PS1, and of course it's gonna bring me up both results unless I type in English.
Nice.
But it's like, oh, here it is on Mercari for 900 yen.
Oh, fuck off, mate. Yeah, that makes sense. Honestly, yeah. I think I said to someone in not Discord on Instagram. They were talking about retro game stuff, and I was like, yeah, I've got Gotcha Force, it's really cool. And they were like, oh, I want a copy of Gotcha Force, really cool. I was like, yeah, you can get it in Japan. You can find them sometimes. They're pretty rare still. We can get them. And he's like, oh, will it be in English? And I'm like, no.
No, of course not.
It's going to be in Japanese.
Why would it be in English?
It's going to be in Japanese. But then that's the thing. If you are a retro game collector, just learn some Japanese. That's what I say.
Even then, I think you could mostly get by with like hi or ie.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
as long as
yeah.
you know what is yes and no,
you'll be fine.
You're probably okay.
If you get really lost, just check out like a playthrough
as long
or something.
as you're not playing like an RPG. God, my hair is just fucking all over.
You're fine, my dude. Don't worry about it. You can do fantastic.
Yeah, as long as you know like yes and no, you're probably okay. Yeah, like unless you're playing an RPG where you need to be able to read to know where the hell to go.
I think I only play a few games in like Japanese RPG games that are like really free to play bullshit ones, and it is like that isn't a game you can play at the end of a long work day.
No,
that's I wake up, I drink coffee, I have breakfast, I sit down at 11 a.m. and I have Japanese dictionary to one side, phone to the other side.
Yeah,
all notifications turned off. I got to focus.
Yep.
Because they're like.
That's why, like, most, like, games like that, I just, like, skip through the story.
Oh,
one, the story is shit.
It's normally shit, yeah.
And two, it's just, like, I do not have the patience to read your god-awful story.
I think I was trying to play one while I was, like, half asleep. And it was, like, it's something like, ike? Like, ike te nanka skashinakia ikenai. And I was like, what the I was like, ike? Ikea? Where the fuck am I going? Where the hell? And I'm running around for, like, 20 minutes, and I'm like, oh. The lake. I was like next to the lake, and the guy was like, "Go over there and find the thing." And I was like, what mission is this?"
I beat Pokemon Gold before it came out in English.
Fuck, you know,
because someone had like when I was a kid. Like now it's probably like more popular, but when I was a kid, it was very popular to have like ROMs, like Super Nintendo ROMs and stuff. But I had a Game Boy like emulator and I emulated the Japanese version of Gold.
Dude, fuck
and
yeah.
played through it like when I was Gold came out in like probably like what 2000
Something.
one, two, so that was maybe like 11 or 12.
Jesus.
And I played through the entire game and beat it just by brute forcing it.
Oh, good man. Yeah.
Like literally just like, I don't know what to do, talk to everyone. I don't know what to do, go everywhere.
Go everywhere. And just keep doing that, and eventually you'll complete
like,
the game.
Okay.
I've done it.
I got hard blocked by fucking pseudo wudo because I didn't know where you had to get the
Let's
fucking
go. The water bottle thingy?
the spray thing. So it's like I don't, and it's like you get the spray thing from one guy.
Yep.
And I'm like 100% certain that like after the gym before you meet where the pseudo wudo is, he's like, oh, you should go talk to
They are, yes.
fucking Mr.
Yes.
Fuji to go get your Jaguji or whatever, you know.
They're like, walk back 3 paces to this guy 3 houses down. He'll give you the water bottle.
Yeah, it's like, okay, cool.
And you're like, yep. Time.
Through all the dialogue.
You basically lived in Pokemon when an average AOT lived their
Yes,
first like
100%.
year in Japan. Just being like, yep.
Uh-huh.
It's like,
no, that's that's now.
that's right now, bro. It's right now. I'm accepting so many side quests.
I brute force through Japanese still. I'm just like, yep, and
read you loud and clear.
Much like
Gotcha, Chief.
Pokemon, I either get stonewalled or I get in trouble, and I'm like, I've dug myself too deep now.
What I normally do, like Pokemon, if I get in too deep and I'm like, shit, what I do? I just start battling people until everyone is KO, or I wake up in the Pokemon
Dog
Center.
at them.
Throw a dog at them, bro. 100%, dude. Like I summon my best boy. Go, fucking this cat I found in the alleyway. Use rabies.
There's enough of like stray animals that you could I mean, that's basically Pokemon, right? Just stray animals.
I'm currently feeding a cat that lives kind of near me to try to entice it into living in my house forever. Yeah, it's basically.
I'm sure that'll be great when you move out and the
be fine.
person there is like, why does this fucking cat keep showing up?
But do you like cats or not?
Well,
I'll tell my landlord. I'll be like, listen, the next tenant in this apartment needs to like cats. No reason, just it'd be fun to keep the vibe similar. No reason at all.
Yeah.
But if a cat ends up on your balcony, oh my god, what a stroke of luck!
Exactly.
What a stroke of luck.
Weird.
Hey, David. How's your week been, David? What have you been doing this week? My boy.
Dude, I honestly can't remember because like yesterday's just kind of like erased my brain of the last week.
Yeah, it was a fucking long ass day. Do you want to talk about the wedding then?
Sure, let's talk about it.
It was pretty fun, guys. So oh my god, last week. I'll quickly chase up. Last week I had a wedding to go to, which I spoke about on the podcast a little bit. It was a.
Oh, the other one. Okay.
Yeah, the other one. I had a different wedding to go to last week, and
I thought you were being one of those weirdos who thinks the week starts on Sunday.
No, that's disgusting. No, that's silly. No, last week I had a different wedding to go to. I've had 2 weddings in a row, and the first wedding was like a just like a celebration party of the wedding. The wedding was done like a week prior, 2 weeks prior, I would say, in like Okinawa or Hawaii or something. I forget exactly where. But at this event, I met some very interesting and some very weird people. Like. Some so weird, I will not talk about them on the podcast. I don't want to give them any.
You don't want to give them any.
Yeah, nothing. Because they're that weird. Yeah. But another person I met was this guy called. He's the guy who does the YouTube channel like Around Akiba. I was telling you about him. So I met this dude, and he does like the TV. He's like the face of the YouTube channel Around Akiba, and I don't know this guy. Never met him before. All I know him is like from this channel. And I was like, oh, this is the guy that does like the borderline
weird
Kuma shit. Yeah, pretty much. And I was like, this is wild. I was like, I gotta ask him questions. This is crazy.
That's all I've like. I knew who he was just like by his face when you mentioned it. I'm like, oh, and then I googled the YouTube channel. I'm like, oh, it's this guy. Okay, yeah, like I recognize his face because people have shit on him before.
Who shit on him? Did I shit on him?
No. Okay. I think just like the general perception is like you're a weirdo Coomer.
Do you know what's okay? Yeah. So pinning that.
So yes,
I'll get to that. Yeah. Because like it's a very interesting situation to be in. Because I met him. I'm having like a conversation with him, and I'm like, yeah, the vibe is from your channel alone, weird Kuma shit. I'm like, why are you doing this? I don't know, but fair plays. And then started talking to this guy, and I'm like, oh, he's generally just like a really down-to-earth normal dude. Like the Kuma energy from this man is low. Like,
right.
I'm like, what's going on here then? I don't understand the disconnect. And then the week after, the day before the second wedding I went to yesterday with David, he invites me to his offices. They have a big office where they make like they do various things like shipping and YouTube stuff and blah blah.
Yeah,
blah.
I assume they have some kind of a store.
Dude, they do so much cool. They do so much stuff. Fingers in many pies. And I go to the office and we're all hanging out, we're chilling, and it's basically just like game night. And I'm sitting around playing games with these guys, and I'm just like, you guys are just big nerds.
Yeah,
like
I mean, you own a YouTube channel called Around Akiba.
Called Around Akiba.
What the fuck do you expect?
Yeah, I was like, you guys are just massive nerds. And
it's like that's like being surprised someone's a chef on The Chef Show.
But the channel's called Around Akiba, but you click on the channel, and there's very little around Akiba besides around the tits of someone in Akiba. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
okay, fair enough.
Which is why I'm like, oh, is this just like the plug to get to the sauce, or is this like, are you actually trying to dive into Akiba content? And I think it's because
it is impossible to parse because even still I don't know.
Yep. But in talking to this individual and like talking to the people he works with, I was like, these guys are just like very kind of sick people, like just very cool people, very interesting individuals. And because of like the work they do, they just have connections to like various models, like ex-Gravure people, ex-AV people who want to do like something else. And their company does like more than just
which I imagine is good for them because
it's very cool.
I have to imagine not for their company, for the ex like
it's great.
Because I imagine that they're kind of just like, now what?
Yes.
If they're done, right?
Yeah.
I don't know because like I'm not in that industry.
Yeah.
I assume you don't make a shitload of money. I assume you make a lot of money.
Yeah, but not a shitload.
But not a shitload because your company probably like skims off like 85%.
Yeah, they do.
Scumbag shit.
They do.
But yeah, I assume it's good for them too because it's like, oh, finally, like something I can,
It is not from what I've. Ooh, the door.
It's probably the
package from the wedding. We'll get to that. So from talking to him a little bit, I think I'm gonna try to drag him onto the podcast one day as well, so we can actually like have a discussion about it on the podcast, because it's a very interesting topic and I want him to like talk about it a little bit more. But his company is basically like the bridge between like a new career for some of these people or a new like venture for some of these people, and like ex-AV stars, ex-Gravure people, then just like anime stuff, nerd culture shit. And I'm like, bro, this is what your channel should be about. More about like this kind of stuff, because this is really interesting. It doesn't always have to be like Kuma content per se. And for what it sounds like, they're pivoting away from it.
Yeah, but I imagine probably the issue is that they've kind of pigeonholed themselves
a little bit, but not as much as you think. The audience is still varied enough that they do have enough reach where they can pivot out of the content successfully. From what I've seen, like they can. From what I've seen,
I don't know enough to make a call.
I saw their back end. From what I've seen and from what like content they want to be creating, they can do it. They still have the what's the word? The momentum.
Yeah,
to be able to pivot still, so they should be okay. But it's crazy though. He was telling me like he has to tell the models they work with and the cosplayers and like the AV stars and blah blah blah. He has to tell them, hey, listen, if someone messages you and they say like they're my friend, or they say like they know me, or like whatever, like even if I follow them, he's like, do not answer them. He's like, check with me first, and then either message them through me, or if you're fine with it, you can do it yourself. And I was like, you gotta go through that much.
Of course.
Yeah,
people are fucking weirdos.
That's what he said. It was like, yeah. He's like, bro, yeah. He's like, you'll meet someone, and then like you'll follow them to be, because like you met them at like an event or a party or like a gathering or something, and the person will be like, oh my god, this guy knows AV star I jerked off to when I was 12.
Right.
Looks like I've got an in. And we'll start messaging the person out of nowhere. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, bro, this is like, this happens, but in hearing someone directly involved in that situation telling you like, yeah, that shit happens, I'm like, bro, people are fucking degenerate.
Of course, yeah, of
people
course.
Are fucking disgusting.
Those kind of people, like, I don't get it. Like, maybe it's because I have something called decorum. For me, even if I was like fucking ultra tier Coomer, like I got ultra Coom instinct or whatever, right? Like my hair is white, but for other reasons.
It's that, like Goku sound where he goes, oh, ultra instinct's like dun 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 dun. It's that every time you fucking
My hair sticks up, but not for the reason you think.
Now, I'm basically Goku
Right,
with the
yeah.
fucking Kuma hair. Disgusting.
Right. But I mean, like, it's like that's in no world is that gonna get you anywhere, right?
No.
Like, it's
No.
just immediately it's like, oh, you're a fucking weirdo creep,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, at least approach it with some tact. If
Oh.
you do that, then maybe you have a chance. But just being a weird fucking weirdo is
Yeah. Looking through like people's DMs, I always find it strange that. Strange, should I say? I find it. I don't understand it. That's the correct thing. I don't understand it. I don't understand what people think the follow-up message is going to be from the person they're messaging.
Right, yeah, exactly.
That's why I don't get.
What do you think was gonna happen?
Yes. Like you message.
I want to know, in your mind,
Yes.
what was the scenario that was gonna happen after you hit send?
I would love to start a series where I take over like an AV Stars DMs for like a week, and I just like collect all the Kumas, and we have like Zoom interviews with them, and I go, okay, when you said on January the 7th of 2024
at 7:50 p.m.
Yeah, at 7:50 p.m. When you said, "Hey, great tits, let's go for coffee," what did you think the reply was going to be there?
Right.
Great opening. You've gone straight to what you want. You've gone for the follow-up date. What did you think the reply was going to be? I'll use your username, Kuma Love Japan 202069. What did you think the reply was going to be? You fucking degenerate. Oh, I thought you'd like it. Like, you know, a lot of these a lot of these would be like probably 12-year-old boys, but I think the vast majority is like grown-ass men.
I think the vast majority is grown-ass men,
like 100%
have no self awareness at all, just zero. It like loops back around and goes into the negatives.
So we should do. I got the name for it. Instead of To Catch a Predator, we call it To Catch a Kuma. And then afterwards, we don't have the power to arrest them,
right?
But we arrest them on their bad vibes, and we put them in like bad vibe prison, which is basically like a big internment camp. We have hidden somewhere on the Shinjuku station. It's like your punishment is we're gonna tie a little bandana around you so you can't see. And we're gonna take you. We're gonna take you into the depths of Shinjuku Station. We're gonna spin you around 10 times, whip off the band-aid, then we're gonna run. Just
leave it on. If you can get out, that your punishment's over.
just wandering around.
Because I think that's a good punishment.
It is a good punishment.
You have to be courteous to other people.
You do.
To hopefully have them lead you out of the station, right?
You know what we do? We put because.
You have two people who are lost.
Some people are like degenerate Kumas. So like even if you do this, they're gonna be like, haha, kink play, I like this. So we don't want that.
Ew.
We don't want that. Here's what we do. We super glue the top of the bandana and we glue it right here on their eyebrows.
Okay.
So if they do take it off, they have no eyebrows. And the police will see them and go, oh, it's one of those no eyebrow Kumas. Looks like they ripped their band-aid off.
Right.
You're under arrest. This was your one chance.
Yeah.
You're under arrest. Straight to prison, fucking degenerate Kuma.
It's just, it's one thing to be like a Coomer, but it's another thing to like just to harass people and be like, yeah, that'll work.
Unless they whip out their license to be horny online straight away, they're going to prison.
Yeah, it's weird. It's just weird, dude. Like what? Yeah, I don't get it.
It's fun. It's dumb. Okay. Anyway, that was my how my week's been. I met some interesting people basically, but yeah. Yesterday's wedding, David. How was the wedding yesterday?
It was great.
It was good.
It was good.
Good times, honestly. One of our good old friends, my friend who sells sesame for a living, absolute fucking legend, that one. I met him in a gym years ago. We ended up being like really good friends. He's like part of the group, and he invited us all to his wedding with like the woman he's been dating for almost a fucking decade now.
It was like 7 or 8 years, right? Something like that.
It could be longer. I think like more. Like 8-9 years maybe. It's been like a long time. So like me and David were like summoned to the boys' wedding, and of course we accepted. Good friends always do. You got to go to your boys' wedding. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Yep.
Can't say no to that. So went to his wedding. It's fucking sick. Hibiya Palace was it?
It was called. The place was called Hibiya Palace. Yeah.
How cool was that, dude?
It was nice. Like that building is nice.
Nice like spiral staircases, and you marry on the roof. And I've got to say, he picked like not only the best day, but the best fucking season for it.
It was not hot.
Nope.
But it was sunny.
Yep.
Yeah,
so autumn leaves. So the way it's made is that you're on the roof and there's like a big gazebo style white tent thing above you, and then between like the big gaps in it, you can see like all the autumn leaves.
Yep.
So it looks like you're just surrounded by like
a tree.
Yeah,
essentially.
It's fucking sick. It kind of looks like you're being wed in the tree.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Very, very, very. What's the word? Very elfy vibes. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like elfy. You're getting married to like a big old oak tree in the middle of Tokyo.
We're in fucking where is it in Lord of the Rings? What's that place called? Like not Lothlorien. What the fuck's that place? The place in the map.
Loch Ness.
The place where the elves are in the Lord of the Rings.
Liberia. Loch Ness.
No, what's it called? Rivendell. That's what it's called.
Fucking, I wasn't even close. Rivendell. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Do you know what's bad? Do you know what I typed to search that up?
What did you type?
Where does Elrond live? I could have got many answers for that question.
Where does Elrond live? Google's like, you can't keep Googling this, David.
Right.
Leave Elrond alone, David.
I'm now on a Scientology watch list.
Oh, dude, you're fucked, bro. They're gonna come for you so hard. Oh my god. Now, great wedding though. We ended up being in the roof for a while, and then there's like a secondary dinner in the on like the first floor of the wedding. Got to meet all like my friends, his other friends and family. And I think me and David got like the best table. It was
agree.
Super chill.
Mm-hmm.
There was like a really interesting couple across from us, like a married couple with like an adorable baby. Absolutely adorable child. And we had spent the entire time just like hanging out, chatting shit, drinking really good, a lot of really good wine.
Yes. The fact that I could actually stomach to drink it tells me immediately that it wasn't cheap.
Don't. I don't know how much my boy spent on this wedding, but all I'm going to say is selling sesame seeds clearly pays.
Oh, yeah.
Clearly banks. I don't know who he's selling these seeds to, but Lord have mercy, that must have been an expensive wedding. We sit down, good champagne comes out. It was good.
Mm-hmm.
I had a good time with that champagne. Having a good time. Drink menus free, of course. We're going down on the yuzu shoe. Delicious.
Oh, I wish I knew what kind of yuzu shoe that was.
Same. Oh my god. I should have asked. It was so fucking
Because it
good.
just said yuzu shoe on the menu.
The momo shoe was good as well. Thick, icy.
I didn't try that.
It was honestly, it was pretty down. The yuzu shoe was better. That's why I made the instant shift to yuzu shoe. The Nihon shoe was really, really good.
I didn't drink that either.
I drank a little glass of the guys next to me.
Yeah.
But like the dude next to me and the guy across from us, they had like a bottle each of Nihon shoe. They are gonna be flying home.
Yep.
Like drifting home. They were like in it, dude.
Yeah,
that was fucking
that
sick.
That shit fucks you up.
Dude, that shit wrecks your insides. But it was good. It was good all the time. Food was great. But like the best thing about the wedding, I would say, was there's a part of the wedding. So trace back a little bit. Our friend Rusa had this big thing where he was like freaking out about his wedding. Of course he was. But he was freaking about his wedding, freaking about like attendance and stuff like that. And he kept calling me. First he was calling me to be like, I messaged David, I don't have him online, and I can't get in contact with him.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I had his account, but he must have changed accounts or like something happened. I don't know what.
I think he changed or something, but he's like, I don't have David online and I can't message his account. I don't know what's going on. And I'm like, I'll just send you his account. So I send you his account and he's like, thanks. And he messaged you being like, hey, come to my wedding, and everything was chill. But like, he kept like freaking out about this stuff. Like, like the day or like 2 days before the wedding, he calls me and he's like, hey, buddy, how you doing? And I'm like, chilling, bro. Man, you good? How's the wedding preparation? Blah, blah, blah. We're having like polite conversation about the wedding and like catching up a little bit. He's telling me about all the sesame he's selling. I'm telling him about all the unemployment I'm doing. It was a grand old conversation at the time. And then he's like, so you're coming to the wedding? And I'm like, yeah, I RSVP'd, bro, like weeks ago. Yeah, I'm coming to the wedding. Like, don't worry about it.
When he sent me the invite, I like filled it out.
Yeah, straight away. Then. Easy. Then like 2 days before the wedding, same thing. Gives me a call. 3 days? Anyway, gives me a call. Exact same thing. Hey, buddy, how you doing? I'm like, I'm good. How are you? Having a whole conversation. He's like, so you coming to the wedding? I'm like, yeah.
Quit asking.
Like, bro, yeah, I'm going to the fucking wedding. Why would I not be coming? Yes, I RSVP'd. I'll be there bright and early. Don't stress. It's going to be okay. I'll see you there, you know? And then we're at the wedding, having a good time. And then I realized, well, we both realized, why he was like freaking out so much about this wedding thing and he was coming. Because there's this part of the wedding where the bride and groom make like an outfit change. The bride leaves first and the bride goes, oh, I'm going to invite 2 secret people to come and like help me leave the room.
Yeah.
And then I come back in and I change. And she's like, and the 2 people I want is, and she like summons 2 of her friends. And they're like crying and it's a whole thing and everyone's like emotional and shit. And they leave the room and it's cool. And then it's Rusei's turn. Rusei's like, I also now must leave the room. And the announcer's like, I'm going to leave the room. But he needs like 2 people to help him also leave the room. And I'm just like drinking wine. Because the wine had come again. Yeah. I'm chilling. I'm looking around the room and I'm like, that's Rusei's best friend from like first year of university.
Right, yeah.
That's Rusei's best friend from like fucking elementary school. The table behind us is full of his boys from like university. Like, I'm like, I'm good. It's not going to be me.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be me and David. We're good. Yeah. We're going to be perfect.
I'm like, we're just here to have a good time.
I'm here to do 2 things, 3 things technically. I'm here to 1, have a good time.
Yeah.
2, fill up that gaijin quote on my boy. Got to have at least 2 foreigners at a wedding. It's good luck. And 3, drink all that wine. I think I said that, but it's very important I say it again. And it was us. And it was us.
It was specifically like because the guy doing the announcing, he announces it in Japanese first, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not like 100% paying attention.
Yeah, of course not. Yeah,
but then
fuck it.
I hear him. He's like, oh, he's like, oh, yeah, and his friends that he met like through his like part-time job, and I kind of went like,
yeah, me too. I was like,
immediately, I'm like, that's me, isn't it?
Bro, like, I was like, that can't be me. I was like, he must have had a different part-time job. That's what you thought as well. I was like, he must have had a secondary part-time job after he had the gym one as well. And they call our names, and I'm like, huh? the fuck? And we go up there, and it's like, give a speech. Yeah, give a fucking speech. I'm like, what the? I'm not prepared for this, my guy. So I just told the story about my boy Nampring me in the gym. And we became us becoming boys.
I didn't know what to say. I'm like, should I say something in Japanese? Like, I'm like,
bro,
I'm not even prepared to do a speech in English.
In English, yes.
Let alone in my second language.
Yes.
So I'm just like, yeah.
Had a good time.
Had a good time.
It was fun.
Well, it wasn't like that, but
yeah, it was
a little bit better than that.
It was a nice speech. We both gave a very nice speech, I gotta say. It's funny. I was watching as we were like standing next to Rusei. He's like tearing up. You see how badly he was tearing up? He's like tearing up so badly, and he's like, "Please, don't make me cry." And I'm like, "Rusei, I'll try my best, I promise." But he's just like, he's holding back the tears. I was like, "Oh, what a fucking great day." But then I was like, this is why he was like, "Please make sure you come to my wedding." I was like, "Yeah, dude, of course." It was honestly a really, really nice day. And then we went home. Do you know why I like this wedding?
Because you were home at a respectable time.
I was home at a respectable time.
I mean, I was home at like 6, but that's only because we went out drinking.
We did go out drinking afterwards, yeah. We would have been back even earlier if we didn't go out drinking afterwards.
I bet if we left and went directly home, I probably would have been home at like 3, maybe.
3 easy. 3:30, 4 latest.
Yeah.
Super easy. But it was a good wedding. Had a really, really good time. Met a lot of Rusei's like family and friends and such. And a lot of them were like they're like, "Oh, we're gonna talk to Rusei and we're gonna make him like plan something when he's back from his honeymoon and we're gonna go drinking." And I was like, "Okay, sure, okay." But then I was looking at this one guy, the guy with the baby. I was looking at him when he said it, and the seriousness in his eyes when he said to me, "I'm gonna bug Rusei and make him plan something when he's back from like his honeymoon." I was like, "Oh fuck, he's deadly serious." Drinks are pending when this boy is back. I was like, oh no, I can see it in this boy's soul. He's not fucking around. So we may have the Japanese boy party drinking stories coming up sometime soon, David.
Maybe
indeed. That's gonna be an interesting interesting development. Which would be good. I do need more Japanese male friends, so that'd be good.
That's true. Yeah, Now that I think about it, I'm
like,
like,
exactly.
A lot of them are women.
Yeah, me too. I've got a lot of female Japanese friends. I have like 3 men Japanese friends. That's it.
I don't even know if I have like ones that I would consider like outside of Ryusei. Like,
no.
There's people I know.
Yeah, there's people I know.
Are they my friends?
Yeah. I have like a lot like that. I have like 3 that I'm like, you guys are my friends, and the rest I'm like, I know you guys.
Right.
You guys are great. Would I invite you to my wedding?
Probably
not. Depends on what you're giving in the wedding, but probably.
Are you giving me go or samang?
Ooh, well, if your friends, it's go. If your family, it's nana.
Well,
fucking You like that? But,
family now, bitch.
Welcome to the family. I'll take that none of fucking money, dickhead. But it was actually an absolutely fantastic wedding. Glad it went. Congratulations to the happy couple. Hope you guys are having a good time traveling to New Zealand. I know he occasionally jumps into the podcast, so congratulations, well done, bro. Good times. David, do you want to quickly jump to our mid-podcast break, and then we can
do, but for some reason,
what happened, David?
Oh, there we go. Okay,
there we go.
Never mind.
Let's very quickly jump to our mid-podcast break and listen to another podcast from our network. We have a very interesting, maybe divisive topic coming up after this short break. So
I don't know how divisive it will be, but we'll talk about it.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. We're right back.
Hi, this is Mono, the host of Tokyo Game Life, a Tokyo-based video game podcast focusing on Nintendo and gaming culture in Japan's capital. It's your slice of gaming life from Tokyo. Every episode features deep dives into gaming-related places to visit in Tokyo, interviews with fans, developers, and experts, plus detailed thoughts on both retro and new games. Tokyo Game Life, only on the Tokyo Beat Network.
Now we're back.
And we're back. Ready for this, David?
Hang on. I got the soundbite right here. Just wait. All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go.
I don't want peace. I want problems, always.
There we go. All right.
I don't want peace.
You know what that means.
I want problems. Yeah, this man wanted problems, bro. Hold on.
Well, he got some problems.
A little while ago, I want to say, when was this made? On the 14th of November.
Yeah.
A man by the name of Value Invest Japan, who's by his you'd assume that he talks about investments and the value of investments in and around Japan. Mm-hmm. He decided, no, fuck investments, and also fuck value. I want to talk about the Japanese language.
Fuck value.
He did. He's like, I want to talk about the Japanese language. And while talking about the Japanese language, I want to dunk on a creator who's done nothing but.
I don't know why he tagged him in that.
No reason.
That was just like a shot across the fucking bow for absolute, like.
That's like me being like, do you know what? I enjoy like a good fried chicken, but occasionally I don't really like a Family Mart chicken. Fuck that guy, and just like start screaming at like random creators who like don't like who like family chicken or some shit. Like it doesn't make any sense. Like it was a massive shot in the dark for no reason.
It's like going to like a fucking, I don't know, like a party or something and be like, I love you guys, except fuck Steve.
Yes.
That cunt.
Yes,
like,
literally.
Like, oh, okay,
literally.
Jesus.
Yeah. It's like me being at it's like me being at yesterday's wedding, being like, I'm really happy for the married couple. Apart from that guy, fuck that guy, and fuck him. Oh well, fuck, he's done for me
like,
recently.
I don't even know you.
Literally, because he doesn't even perfect. Because this guy doesn't even know Dogen.
No,
that's the
100%.
one of it. So he makes like a very long tweet. It's about 7,000 characters long. He edited the tweet.
7,000.
It is.
The thing he edited it with, I'll talk about in a second because.
Excellent. I'm gonna read you the tweet. The tweet is now deleted, but you can find it if you go into my Instagram.
So that tells you a little bit about the tweet if it's deleted.
I shall begin. He goes, advice for foreigners who want to settle and live in Japan: learn some Japanese, but don't try and be perfect. It'll never be enough to their eyes. It should be in their eyes, but okay. And you'll never be Japanese even if you change your passport. They'll like you for trying, but they won't like you anymore if you speak as well as them. Once you speak perfect Japanese, you enter an eerie zone that will disgust them, anger them, and make you look like someone who racially shouldn't be that fluent, but is. And that makes you an anomaly. And anomalies aren't accepted in Japan. He keeps going. They'll start saying things like, X is more Japanese than a Japanese, and it ain't praise, it's a passive-aggressive comment. Being a foreigner still has an edge if you're different. I assume you want that in italics or edgy text.
Right.
Once you cross the perfect Japanese threshold, you lose it. My Japanese friends tell me that people like, and he ats Dogen, make them cringe and feel revolted because of his excellent Japanese, and ask me changing slides, and asked me to never even try speak like him. Seriously, full stop. I've been here for 15 years. The classic, I've been here for 15 years. I've been here for 15 years and have never met a super fluent foreigner who makes good money. The foreigners in good positions, 20 million yen above, and doing interesting stuff in general are not fully fluent. Speak some, but don't aim to be Japanese. We'll share some more inspired by recent posts with something called Leviso.
I think it's Levels IO.
Oh, Levels IO?
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
But Levels IO is like 100% some crypto bro scam.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. But that was his very long, very ridiculous tweet. I replied by saying, where's my reply? I had a very interesting reply I want to bring up really quickly. Because my thoughts haven't changed from that much from when the tweet was actually initially created. I said, this is an experience of myself, or honestly anyone I've been in Japan. The more Japanese you speak, the more adventure you can have, the more fluent I've gotten in Japanese, the more people flock to me in my travels. That's it. That was my response. It was a little longer, but generally that's kind of how it was. David, let's break this down, talk about it. What do you feel about? Do you want to bring it to sections?
So first off, F for organization, because you put a dash, like you're gonna start a list, and then just wrote a
and then just wrote a whole fucking thing. Yeah.
So
very annoying.
Okay, you made a point. You didn't need the dash. Then
you didn't know.
So like that already annoys me.
Indeed.
So I'm gonna be that nitpicky.
You better be,
as the teacher that I am. So let's just address his first, I guess, like the first sentence. Point, right?
Yeah, learn some Japanese,
but don't try to be perfect. It'll never be enough for their eyes, and you'll never be Japanese, even if you change your passport. Okay, there's so much to fucking unpack here already.
Go on.
Right?
We have the same points, but let me hear what you think about this.
Don't try to be perfect. It'll never be enough in their eyes. Whose? Like, are you...
Who's?
Like, it's so weird to... I know that we do this a lot on the podcast, right? We do kind of paint with a broad brush, but I think what we say typically is not nearly as serious. Not serious, but it's not said... It's said in a joking manner, right?
Yes.
I'm not coming out here being like, this is my hard and fast advice about what the Japanese people think.
I'm not on Twitter writing manifestos, basically.
Right, yes, exactly.
My point of this first one was, so he says, learn some Japanese, but don't try and be perfect. It will never be enough to their eyes, and you'll never be Japanese, even if you try and change your passport. Now, my thoughts on this was simple. It was like, who are you learning Japanese for?
Right.
Because you're not learning it to be Japanese. You're learning Japanese to learn Japanese.
Right, to improve your life.
Yeah. I read this entire thing as, if you change Japanese for any other language, you sound like a crazy person. Learn some Korean, but don't try to be perfect. It'll never be enough in their eyes, and you'll never be Korean even if you change your passport. Everyone will be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
It's the same thing. It's like, learn some English,
Yeah.
but don't try to be perfect. Like, can you imagine someone saying, like, learn English, but don't try to be perfect? You'll never be white. It's like,
what the fuck are you talking about?
First off, like, what does that even mean?
What does that even mean?
Yeah, like, I don't even know what you're implying, right? Second is that, like, have you ever met a foreigner who wants to be Japanese?
No.
Like 100%
yes.
sincerely, legitimately wants to be Japanese.
No.
I've met weird weebs who want to be Japanese, but that's because they think, like, that Japan is cool, and, like, they're dumb weebs. They will be dumb weebs forever, right? And those people don't,
what's the word? Small to big.
Mm-hmm.
They're not the voice of all the foreigners living in Japan.
Right, they're not a monolith.
Yeah. Thank you. You have this thing where young people learning Japanese, like young foreigners learning Japanese, come to Japan, they'll do some cringy shit. A lot of people have done it where they'll go, I've spoken this before, they'll go like, my name is Mochi Sakura.
Right, yeah.
And I'm Japanese. And you go, yeah, cringe, but you'll grow out of that in like 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And they do. The vast majority do. And then they go, okay, sorry about that, guys. My bad. I'm now back to learning the language. Why are you learning the language? I want to be able to go to the fucking shack show and do my taxes.
Because it makes my life easier.
It makes my life easier. I want to be able to, like, sit in a conversation with someone and not be going, What do you mean? Like the wedding yesterday is a great example for this. At the wedding yesterday, my reading's trash. It's always been trash, but my speaking is better than my reading. I sound very good when I speak Japanese because my speed and the way I talk about it, my speed and the way I speak Japanese has like the what do you call it? The inclination of like
the intonation.
Yes, of like native. So I trick people's ears into thinking I'm better than I am. I'm not that good, but it sounds good, and thus people are like they can understand what I'm saying basically. So at the wedding yesterday, I'm talking to this table and I'm telling stories, I'm doing whatever, and no one was like, "Oh, yuck, this guy's like, ugh."
Right, yeah.
Revolting.
No one was like, ew.
Yeah, no one's like, his Japanese is really good. No one was like, oh, he's clearly trying to be Japanese. I go, oh, Japanese is great. Oh my god, thanks, bro. A couple times. And they go, anyway, back to the conversation we were having.
Right. But this kind of person would be like, oh, they're just saying that because, Nihongo Jozu, right? Like you're not actually good. Like there's always someone there ready to just like slap you with that and being like, oh, they just said it because it's Tatemai Hone.
Oh yeah
type shit. And it's like,
but
that's irrelevant.
Yeah,
like,
it doesn't matter.
In my opinion, like it doesn't matter. Like, do I continue the conversation in Japanese perfectly fine, or do I just stop?
That's the difference. When you start a conversation, if I jump into the conversation, someone goes like, "Wow, ii tenki desu ne," and I go, ii tenki da ne, and they go, "Wow, Nihongo Jozu." It's like, "Oh, great weather. Here, great weather. Wow, Japanese is great." Now, what do we do? Now, what are you doing next? Can you continue?
I stop talking to them because I don't want to.
Because you don't. Can you continue the conversation? If your Japanese stops there, yes, your Japanese is shit. Go back to the study board, get some more like revision done. If you go, yeah, thanks, and then you just continue what you're doing anyway in Japanese, well done. Your Japanese is quote unquote Jozu. It's that simple. Like, and when it comes down to it, it's not about like being Japanese. You don't look Japanese. You're not. You will, Japanese.
You will never be Japanese.
And no one is trying to be Japanese. It's more of a case of
that is the like to me out of that part that is the weirdest take to me. It's like you will never be Japanese, and my retort to that is, who wants to be like? Who do you know that like legitimately wants to be Japanese?
I have a point to make in the second part of this paragraph, which is very racially charged. I'll get there when we dive into it, but yeah. His first entire section is completely wrong. You're learning Japanese for you. You should definitely learn not some Japanese. You should learn a lot of Japanese. Little things. Last point about just quote unquote learn Japanese. If you are living in Japan, you want to settle here. You want to marry here. You want to be like in a committed relationship, get a house, raise a family, whatever in Japan, and you speak some Japanese, and you read this guy's like big Twitter rant, and you're like, yeah, that's enough Japanese. I don't need any more. I can say konnichiwa and I can say konbanwa. That's more than enough. Like, I'm good. Your marriage will end in divorce. 100%. 100%. Because you don't believe me? Open Reddit right now. Open Reddit right now.
I think a lot of those aren't based off language issues. I think a lot of them are based off people being like degenerate weirdos.
They are, but also a lot of them are based off small language issues because these small things build up. In a marriage in the UK or in America of two like people who speak English, for example, divorce and like things like what do you call it? Like the incompetence of one party in the marriage normally ends up leading to divorce, and it's like small things constantly building up, which creates a larger issue, which fucks up like the ambience of the marriage, which then causes divorce. And that happens quicker in Japan because, like, in a sense, if I'm like a Japanese woman and I marry like a guy and he speaks no Japanese, I have not gained a partner, a husband. I have gained a child because he can't do shit in this country. Go do your taxes. I don't know how. Go to this shack show and we're moving. Go do shack show thing. I don't know how. Go to the ATM and do. I don't know how. I can't do it. So I now have to run my life and your life? The fuck, my guy? Like, it's stuff like it's stupid little things that they eventually build up. Like, it's stressful. Yeah, even if it's difficult for you to do in another language. I hate going to the shack show. I find it difficult. It's annoying, but you do it.
If I have to, yeah.
He has to, and he gets it done. When it's time to
gotta go there tomorrow.
Bro, there we go. It's got to get done. You get it done. You do it. It's not difficult. But if you don't speak the language, you've not gained a partner. You just gained like another child. And a lot of people, like, you see it in the comments where that has clearly built up and the person's just gone, we're done. And they just divorce, or they break up, or they cheat, or whatever. And they're like, I'm getting a divorce because my wife's mean. I'm like, really?
Is that what it is?
Is that what it
is?
is?
It always comes out like they're just a weird, like they're always weird, or they're doing like shady shit, and they're just doing weird fucking crap, and it's like, well, no, that's the issue. The issue is not your ability in any other. It's just that you're a fucking man-child.
You're a fucking man-child, and you don't speak enough of the language to, like, even though if you can be a man-child, but speak enough of the language to also live your life here without something holding your hand at every stage, basically. It's very stupid. Learn a lot of Japanese. Learn as much Japanese as your brain can contain, and then learn a little bit more. There is no language you will learn that'll be a detriment to your life. That's not how things work.
It's not like the implication that you shouldn't learn because people won't like you is absolutely absurd.
Stupid. Makes no sense.
We've got through one paragraph.
Sorry, yeah, I this is a whole thing.
But like he goes on to say,
go on.
They'll like you for trying, but won't like you anymore if you speak as well as them. This just sounds like you have shitty friends.
He just has shitty friends.
That's
it.
100% what it sounds like.
Yeah, 100%. Because you're like, oh, I went to the izakaya and I've been here 15 years. My Japanese is shit, but everyone loves me. And if I speak anymore, they get really annoyed. I'm like, no, you've read the situation wrong. What's happened here is that you've gone to like a fucking toriki, and you keep changing the menu to English, and it's annoying all the Japanese people there because it's easier in Japanese. And then when you want something like water, you're going, sumimasen, cordial onegaishimasu, and she's like, okay. And then she brings you ice, and you're like, I wanted water, and she brought me ice. Right. How stupid! It's like, no, it's you. Shut up. Stop trying in Japanese. You're being disruptive. It's clearly what's going on.
I don't even think it's that. It's like, to me, the vibe of this post is like, bad. I learned Japanese to express my opinions, and then everyone said your opinions are shit. We don't like you.
Yes.
Like that. Like that's what I feel like.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah.
Where it's just like, oh, I can finally express myself. Turns out I'm a shitter. Yeah. And no one likes me.
Turns out no one likes me. I'm an absolute fucking shit human of a person. Because like literally, because if these are your opinions in English, you translate it to Japanese. Right. It's just as shit. It's just as shit. Like next paragraph kind of proves that for me. So once you speak perfect Japanese, you enter an eerie zone that will disgust them, anger them, and make you look like someone who racially shouldn't be that fluent, but is. And that makes you an anomaly, and anomalies aren't accepted in Japan. Okay, this man is clearly a white dude without looking at his photo, and he's clearly a little bit racist. And I say this because he's written this post, and in his mind, he's only thought, white man living in Japan. White man living in Japan. Who are the Japanese people? The Japanese. The Asian-looking Japanese people. So the Asian-looking Japanese people, they speak Japanese. And the white man, we don't speak Japanese. We speak English, and when we want something, we point and we say "kore." That's it. And there's and nothing else exists. Nothing else exists. It's just that. And I'm thinking like, bro, hafu's a thing. There are mixed race people in Japan. There are people who look like me, but don't speak any English at all. And you're writing posts like this on Twitter and being like, oh no, the Japanese people look at you. A person who's half Japanese, Japanese passport, ethnically Japanese, racially half Japanese, and half something else. And they go, yuck.
No, why do you speak Japanese so good?
So I'm Japanese, I live here.
I can't even imagine. In no
go on.
conversation have I ever, and I'm going to, I'm speaking as a white person, so like I'm coming from the same like tier area as they're from, right? Space. I've never come across someone who's like, ew, you shouldn't speak Japanese.
Exactly.
Like that's such a fucking like there's such a weird like hang up about race in something that is a learned skill, right? Yep. You can put anyone from any race into anywhere on the planet. And if they learn that language, there we go. That's on them. Yep. It's the same way that I hate where like people talk about like ethnic food, right? And they're like, if it's not made by like if you're getting tacos and it's not made by a Mexican from Guadalajara, Mexico, who like gets his fucking beef from like Durango or somewhere in Mexico, right?
Yeah.
And made it on the fucking coast with tequila in
classic, bro.
Like,
authentic.
If it's not that, it's like, oh, it's wrong. It's like, cooking is a learned
It's a
skill.
learned skill.
It's not an inherent skill. I hate that there is this consistent talking point of like racial authenticity as though a learned skill has a preference for race.
Yes.
It makes
No
absolutely
sense.
no fucking sense.
Have you seen the meme? There's a really funny, very short video I watched where it's like a stupid liberal bashing video, but I found it very funny. Where this like white liberal woman is like at like a van and she's like screaming at the owner of the van.
The taco
The
shop
taco one! So fucking screaming at this taco shop guy, being like, "You're a white guy, you shouldn't be running this taco stand, and you're terrible, and yeah, blah, 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 and this is awful." And then he's like, "No, no, no." The chef is like,
he's like, "Oh, I'm not the cook.
"I'm not the cook. He's a
He's
different
like,
guy."
was Guillermo?
Yeah,
Guillermo's
Guillermo's the cook. And she's like, "Oh, you got a Mexican guy back there, and you're paying him like $1 an hour."
Yeah.
And then this Korean guy just
turns
comes
around.
out, and this Korean guy just starts speaking in fluent Korean, just being like, "Oi, when's next order? I need this." And the white guy turns around, responds in also fluent Korean, just being like, "Make the fucking tacos." And the woman just shuts down. She's like, "The fuck is going on?"
Because the fucking loading.
It's got the
circle.
loading thing. Bro, I found that so fucking fun. Like
Yeah, like
it's that basically.
it is 100% that. It's like
Yeah. Yes,
It's-
that's stuff.
yeah, learned skills being inherent to a race is probably the most racist shit I've ever heard.
Yeah, it is. It's like being you can't cook samosas because you're not from fucking Somaliland or whatever. It's like, are you stupid? I can do whatever I fucking want, you dickhead. And especially considering like coming from like a very diverse place like London, everyone does everything. Everyone lives everywhere. You see everyone from every walk of life in London. And then comes to Japan, you're like, there's less of that here. But it still exists. Like, especially when you go to like Kanagawa, where I used to live, a lot of the students I used to teach were like half something else. It's like a lot of like half Indian kids, full Indian kids, or like half. I had a family of just they used to live on the base, and then they moved off the base because they wanted to put their kids into like Japanese school.
Yeah.
So their kids were just like 3 black kids, just mother, father, both black kids, 100% black from America, just in my school, and they all speak Japanese fluently because once again, they're just in the Japanese schooling system,
Right.
and no one's gonna look to these kids and go, "Oh, yuck,
You don't speak
you
Japanese.
don't speak." So when I see shit like this, I'm like, you are kind of a racist cunt, aren't you? Because you've taken your own shitty, tiny, crappy worldview and you've gone, "This is it. This
Right.
is the truth. I have experienced nothing else but this, and thus this is what it must be." And I hate that kind of shit. Fucking makes
it's
me
very
sick.
weird. I've always said this too, is like, you know, people who live in Japan will have as many opinions about what it's like to live in Japan as
Oh,
like
God, yeah.
grains in the of sand in the fucking desert, right?
True. Yeah.
Because it's your not. This sounds so fucking hippy dippy
Go on.
bullshit,
No,
but
no,
like
no, go
your journey, your life in Japan, like when you live here, is so radically different
From
than everyone else, right?
Mhm.
There are some commonalities between all
Of course,
them,
yeah.
but for the most part, it's like, you know, some people will come here and they'll get a lot of Japanese friends. Some people
yeah.
will come here and they
Get
can't make a fucking friend to save their life, right? Right? It could be something as simple as that, or like someone comes here with like amazing Japanese and they fucking hate it. Like they
Seen
came
that, yep.
here with like N1 and they're like, "Oh, I'm ready to go," and they come and live in Japan. They're like, "This fucking sucks."
This is terrible. Yeah.
And then you have someone who comes here with like, you know, self-assessed N8 Japanese and they're like, "This is the best place to live ever," right?
Yeah.
And the point I think he's trying to make, right, is that like when you hit a certain level of Japanese, and and this is like kind of like where I have to defend him a little bit, right?
Yuck. Continue.
Because there is a little bit of this that does go on from the Japanese side, right? And I think you'll probably actually agree with me
Okay,
on
go on.
this. Is that I agree that when you hit a certain level of Japanese, there's an expectation put on you that should match Japanese people. Now, what I mean by that is that when you're the wacky, goofy foreigner for whatever reason, like he's painting it as that. I wouldn't say that that's the case, right? But a regular Japanese person who's never left the country is working with like a foreign person, right? That foreign person is going to do things their way that may not be inherently the same that is necessarily atarimai to a common sense.
Fucking been there.
Yeah, hang on.
Idiot.
That is common sense to what a Japanese person would do, right?
Yes.
It's like, oh, we file files this way because that's the way we've done it in Japan forever and ever, despite maybe the fact that the foreign person does it a different way that is either better or worse, or like it's irrelevant. It's just different.
Yeah.
Right? I think that in some cases, if your Japanese is bad and you can't either express why you're doing it or defend yourself or explaining why something is better or worse or why you're doing it that way, right? I think there's an understanding by people that it's kind of like, oh, you're the weird foreigner, like whatever, just let them do their own thing as long as stuff gets done, right?
Yeah.
You get ignored to some extent.
A lot of that also becomes like, we don't, like, as like we as in Japanese people, they're like, I don't want to try and speak to this foreigner because he doesn't speak enough Japanese to communicate with me, and it's going to be a pain in the ass to try and sort whatever he's doing out, basically, be it right or wrong or weird or different. I don't want to dive into that. It looks like a lot. I want to get involved in that. And a lot of Japanese people working for like certain companies don't have the English ability to, you know what I mean, to like communicate their own ideas to you in English because your Japanese is shit. So they just go, fine, whatever.
Right. Whereas,
and it's not a case of like, what's the word? It's not good or bad. It's just like they just can't be fucked.
Right. And that's why I bring it up, because I think there is a certain point where I agree with him, where you hit a level of Japanese proficiency where Japanese people assume that you know the quote-unquote correct way to do. That's why I said I use the word atarimai. It's common sense, right? Where, you know, if you're not doing it the Japanese way and someone can explain to you in perfect Japanese and you understand that perfect Japanese and you still do it a different way, that there's some resentment there, because it's like, oh, now you're doing it just to fucking spite me because... Yes. So in that case, where he's making that case, I can understand that there's some friction there. Yeah. Like, that I understand.
Oh, yeah.
But the flip side is that he's saying to prevent that, just be stupid.
Yeah, just be the idiot. And then this is the issue, because, like, I see where he's coming from in only that very small element that you just explained, in the sense of, like, yes, if you speak fluent Japanese, they're going to assume you also understand Japanese culture.
Cultural rules.
In all elements. I've had the same thing. I've been in a company, they're like, oh, it's atarimai. And I'm like, it's not atarimai. Nothing's atarimai in this world. You can't just say things of common sense. Common sense and what is, quote unquote, the norm changes between not only like countries and culture, but between fucking cities. The atarimai way to sort documents in fucking Machida is not going to be the same way to do it in bloody Sagumi Ono or whatever.
Right.
Like,
you guys can't even decide what fucking side of the escalator to stand on.
Bro, the atarimai in Tokyo is different from Osaka. What, Osaka is on the right hand side, Tokyo's on the left. What's the atarimai? Idiots.
I guess the atarimai would be, you need to know where is left and where is right, right?
I always
but that's why that's fucked up.
I always stand dead center, power play, legs spread straight out.
The Shizuoka method.
The Shizuoka method, baby. Ain't no one gonna pass me. I do the sumo squat, put both hands out, and I go, okay, when I ride an escalator, so no one can stop me. Listen, I don't fuck around escalators, baby. But apart from that, I'm like, yeah, the correct method is to understand. If you're speaking of Japanese, where they're like, hey, at company X, we do it this way, it's to go, understandable. I now speak enough Japanese where I can understand the method you're giving me, but this method is better, and here's why. And then if they go, no, but we want it done this way, you can go, why?
Right.
And then you have a conversation, because this man clearly doesn't speak Japanese. Because he doesn't.
He might to some extent.
If he spoke enough Japanese, he would be at the level where if someone said, once again, hey, we do things this way, he should be able to then go, oh, no, actually, this way makes more sense. Let me show you. And then he shows him his way explaining it in the Japanese he supposedly has mastered or has whatever, because clearly he's experienced this. So he then explains to them, no, we do this because, look, this makes more sense. It's cleaner. It's easier. And then they go, fair enough. Like, there were companies I used to work at where they go, oh, we saw X thing this way. And I go, that's a terrible way of doing it. Let me show you my way. And I show them my way, and they go, that's way easier. And I go, yeah, let's do it that way going forward. And they go, cool. Could you please do like a Kenshu and teach everyone how to do it that way? And I go, yeah, no worries. That's how it's done. So him being like, no, they're going to resent you and hate you. I'm like, no, your Japanese isn't good enough. You don't understand how to have a conversation and explain why you're doing X the way you're doing it, or what your standpoint, what your stance is in X matter, basically. So like, you're wrong. Like the way you've decided to go about this issue, to go about this scene problem, is completely wrong, and you are an idiot. It's that simple.
Yeah. To keep going, like, he says they'll start saying things like X is more Japanese than a Japanese, and it ain't praise. It's a passive aggressive comment.
Is it?
That's my question. Like, is it?
Is it?
So like, it could be, but again, this comes down to, are your friends dickheads?
Yeah.
Or like, are like this? This seems to me like this is coming from someone who has a very high opinion of like Japanese exceptionalism.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. He's like, you'll never reach the shining heights of Japanese people.
A foreigner could never understand. Right.
Oh, do you know how many strokes there are in the kanji for depression? You shouldn't.
Yeah.
It's a mountaintop that no one has ever fucking seen. Like, fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah. It's the weird, like, not it's the infantilization of foreigners.
Yes.
On one hand, and then just this like propping up like Japan and Japanese language as like this insurmountable thing that you couldn't climb, and it's like,
look at Chinese is right there, and it's way harder.
It's not even that too. It's like, well, how did you learn Japanese? I went to school. Yeah, me too.
Me too.
Like, would you have learned how to write all the kanji that you know if you didn't go to school? No. Did you learn how to speak proper Japanese if you didn't go to school?
You went to school?
No.
We're out of the country right now. It's fucking idiots. It doesn't make any sense. Thing as well, I don't get the they start saying things like X is more Japanese than a Japanese person. Now, here's my thing. There's the Nihongo Jozu level, right? So there's Nihongo Jozu, which means like, good job.
Right.
Keep it up. Keep studying. Ganbare. Keep it going, Nihongo Jozu. Good job. Keep studying. Then you go up from that, and it's like, it's like, oh, this guy's Japanese is actually really fucking good. And sometimes you get those in sequence. Someone will Jozu you, then straight away they'll be like, what? That's fucking sick. And then you'll do some cultural shit at a table, or you'll play a Korean game in the perfect way. You'll fucking dab up Kirby in I don't know what you can do. And they'll go, wow, this guy's, you're basically Japanese. And it's just a level up of the Nihongo Jozu. They've realized, like, I can't just say this man is Nihongo Jozu. It's more than that now. He has become one of us. He is basically Japanese.
It's always, to me, that kind of comment comes off as like, it's always from people who don't know enough foreigners.
Yeah.
For usually for one, who like don't know enough foreigners. And then it's two, it's like things that they think are inherently Japanese are not. It's like, it's always like really dumb stuff like, oh, you can use chopsticks. It's like, yes.
Yeah.
Like, why is that surprising? Like, if someone comes to America and uses a fucking spoon, I'm not like, whoa, my God. Right? Like, you wouldn't freak the fuck out. Like, that's so stupid.
For me, it was the little things. It was like, I think the first "you're basically Japanese" I ever got was like, I think I was an international student in Japan. My Japanese is horseshit, terrible at this stage. And I go into someone's house and I take my shoes off because we do it at my house back home. You take your fucking shoes off. Don't walk your dirty shoes into our clean floors.
Right.
You step into the house. There's a radiator to your left. You take your damn shoes off. You leave them there. We have carpets in the living room. Fuck's wrong with you? Take your damn shoes off. It's that simple. It's not hard.
But it's like I don't know if it's like to some people that seems like that is some kind of like inscrutable cultural thing that like you would never understand, and it's just so.
Yes.
I don't want to say a tarimai, but it's just easily comprehensible. Like it's not even a challenge.
No.
It's like when you go to someone's house, take your shoes off.
Take your shoes
like,
off.
why is that such like a cultural thing? Like obviously that's not like a hyper specific example.
But it connects on what you're saying. It's people that don't have understanding of cultures outside of Japan and who've not met enough people who aren't Japanese to understand that these certain things that are seen to be just purely Japanese culture happens everywhere. Like, I think when I was in Japan, like,
and not even that, the stuff that is purely Japanese culture, how easy is it to learn?
And it also overlaps with a lot of other cultures as well. Like, I think one time my friend was like, once again, international student time. So like, oh, in Japan, we eat rice every day. And I'm like, yeah, same in my house.
Yeah, I eat rice every day back home.
I'm Jamaican. We eat rice every day.
The only time I'll eat bread is for like lunch, and that's like a sandwich
Yeah.
or something.
Bread is breakfast, baby. Then after that, it's rice or pasta.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So the first time someone was like, wow, you're going to be okay in Japan eating rice every day? I'm like, yeah, it's going to be really different from my normal life of eating rice every day.
Rice every day.
Fucking...
What about fish? You've ever seen one of those?
I live on an
Dong?
island!
Oh, only in an aquarium.
Fish? What was that? Some kind of tree monkey? The
Right,
fuck's wrong
yeah.
with you? It's like when they were like, there's a certain phrase, it's never... Oh my god, I remember this conversation so well. This Japanese man, this old guy, was speaking Japanese, but hanging out. And he's like, wow, Nihongo Joe. So I'm like, yeah, thanks, boss. And he's like, oh, man, you know, I don't speak Japanese. You know, I don't speak English. I'm like, okay. And he's like, yeah, Japan's an island nation. We're an island people, you know. We don't learn language. You know, we're an island. We're an island. We don't learn other language. We're an island, you know. Unlike you, strange foreigner from a different connected land, we're an island in Japan. We don't languages. We can't do it. Books can't go to island. And I look at him like, yeah, I'm from England. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I'm from the UK. He's like, I'm like, it's an island? He's like,
It's a very big island.
It's an island? And I had to take out my phone to open Google. Look, it's an island. And he's like, oh, but France is right there. And I'm like, yeah, Korea's right there. And once again,
China.
once again, I'm not speaking fucking French, am I? Speaking in Japanese, you dumbass. Like, and it's shit like that I'm like, yeah, you just don't have enough international...
Right. To me, it
exposure.
feels like there's a failing on the other side more than there is on the person learning Japanese, right?
Indeed.
Because, like,
Indeed.
I think that the person who's learning Japanese, typically, their ultimate goal is to make their life smoother and easier for them, and everyone else can get fucked, right? Like that's kind of where I'm coming from, right?
Agreed.
Like, if you are learning another language, you are learning it to, one, communicate with people, two, to make your life easier.
Yep.
And that's kind of all there is. Right?
Literally, yeah.
Or you like the language for whatever reason, right?
So,
like, but
yeah,
to pretend that when someone speaks your own language better than you, and like what's
better,
right? Like there's people that speak English better than me. There's probably foreign people who speak English much more eloquent than I do.
There definitely is.
And I'm not like, ew, gross.
I'm like, you're sick.
Why aren't you dumber?
You know what?
Like,
why are you writing in cursive? Yuck. Execute him. Oh, yeah. Next paragraph. I have only one thing to say about this. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
So he goes, being a foreigner still has an edge. You're different. Once you cross the perfect Japanese threshold, you lose it. Ready? Here's my one comment about this. Ready? This man is a boring cunt. That's it. You're a boring cunt. You're dull. You're dull. You are milk on toast baked in an oven at 320 degrees. You're boring. Because you're saying he's seeing here his only entertaining factor. The only thing about this
is
man
that he's foreign.
Is that he's foreign. And the second he learns enough Japanese where he can eloquently place out his thoughts and ideas to the group, he loses the allure.
When you get to explain komorebi to Japanese people, and they're just like,
what? So your only saving grace
you.
is that you're just chatting shit in English and bad Japanese. Everyone's going, wow, gambatte in there. Wow, American John, whoever the fuck this guy is. Like, you're boring. Like, it should be the opposite. The more ideas you communicate, the more you can, like, express your own history and, like, your own culture coming to another country.
And the deeper niche things that you can get into.
Yes,
right?
exactly. And like bringing up your hobbies and interests and being like, oh, I do like this weird niche thing in the States. And it turns out it's bigger in Japan, so now I do it here in Japan. And everyone goes, hey, that's pretty cool. The fact this man is like, my only saving grace is that I'm foreign and different. And once I speak Japanese, no one cares anymore. I'm like, you're boring. You're boring.
It's like, you know, if a foreign person does something like ikebana, right? Like,
yeah, it's cool.
Typically, I don't think many foreigners do that, right?
Nope.
Like, that is a niche hobby.
Yep.
But even to Japanese people, that is a niche hobby.
It's a niche hobby, yeah.
So, in his, like, by his own admittance, that would make you more Japanese than most Japanese because you're doing an inherently Japanese hobby, right?
Yes, that's a niche, yeah.
But that even within the country that it exists, it's already a niche. So are those people like, is there some kind of sliding scale where like, oh, I'm a Japanese person, I do the more culturally Japanese things than the other Japanese person, that means I'm more Japanese? Like,
it's like, oh, you do fucking ikebana, or well, I do traditional folk dance. Looks like we gotta roll these D20s
Right.
to see who fucking wins the Japanese off.
Yeah,
Like,
I feel like there's a lot of that kind of shit too with like people who are mixed race too, or not even like, even within, I won't speak to being white, because like that's such a fucking, people tell me that like you don't have culture. It's like, okay,
maybe you're Canadian, you have culture.
I will direct you to the Renaissance, and maybe you can study some history there.
I just tried some authentic maple syrup. That shit culture, baby. That bussin'. Go on.
I've always heard like, oh, where people say, oh, you're not black enough, you're not white enough, right? And
I get that.
Like what is that? Like, how are you judging that? It's like, okay, if I don't do the things that you consider are traditionally whatever, that means I'm less or more.
I got that constantly growing up. Good point. I
Right.
got that constantly growing
But
up.
it's the same thing in Japan, right? If
Yep.
you're doing things that are more culturally Japanese, does that make you more Japanese?
No.
It just means you do weird niche shit.
Do weird niche shit. That's it. Yeah. Like, I think I wasn't black enough for the longest time because I didn't like the other music that kids liked at the school that were black, and thus I wasn't black enough. But I also wasn't white enough because obviously I'm clearly visibly black. So where do I? It's one like a big like, where do you fit in here kind of thing. Like, it's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. And nothing you do will make you any more or less to the outside eyes. Like, so anyone who looking at me from outside perspective, they go, that guy's black. They don't go, oh, that guy must love ikebane. He doesn't fucking know.
Yeah, right, exactly.
He doesn't know.
But I mean, I think that's where that kind of comment comes from. You're more Japanese than a Japanese person. It's like, no, I'm just doing a thing that is more culturally Japanese that you wouldn't expect me to do, right?
Yeah, I'm just
if
doing...
I go take up Kyudo tomorrow, that doesn't make me more Japanese than Tanaka down the street.
Yeah, literally.
That just means Tanaka doesn't do Kyudo.
Yeah, I'm doing the thing that I find interesting, and it's interesting because I'm doing the thing. I want to do it, so I'm doing it.
It's not interesting because it's inherently Japanese. It's interesting because it's fun, and
yeah,
I like to do it.
I find it interesting. I'm doing it. This is why I think this guy's a boring cunt, because once again, he's like, as soon as you lose your foreignness, your foreign edge,
right?
You're like, they don't care anymore. For me, and every other situation I've ever been in, the second people realize I can speak Japanese, they're more interested in asking me about things. And the more they learn about me, the more they want to know me. The more they want to like have conversations, buy me drinks, keep me at the bar a little bit longer so they can have like one more round of talking with me. Like, so if you're in a situation where you're like, oh no, the more I speak Japanese, like the less people care about me, like, you're boring. Get some hobbies. Go for a run. Do something cool. At the wedding yesterday, me and David had the entire table fucking captivated. We were having like secret conversations in English and then translating the conversations. And everyone's like in hysterics, being like, that's fucking hilarious. Which is because the conversations we're having are as funny in English as they are in Japanese. It's great. Like, these things translate. If you're an interesting person, no matter what language you translate it into, it translates.
I agree with Jay in chat here. Personality plays a huge part in being accepted.
Yeah.
And I 1,000% agree with that, because like, I think personally, even like my personality in English, and I notice this when I go to like big group gatherings, I'm just like, I feel like naturally in like a group setting or with people that I don't know, I have like a naturally repulsive personality. And I don't know why that is, but I feel like that's the case. But I feel like the people who actually take the time
That's hilarious.
and spend like to get to know me more have the complete opposite opinion.
Yep.
So on the one hand, I can understand where people are just like, oh, this guy's like, but
no, I get it, because the guy with the baby sitting opposite us, when you went to go to the bathroom, he was like, where did David go? I was like, he's going to the bathroom. He's like, oh, he's really cool. I'm like, yeah, I know. He's like, oh, how long have you known him for? I'm like 7 years. He's like, you guys get along really well. I'm like, yeah. He's like, he's like, next time us three should go and drink, like just us three. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Because like, same thing. It's like, when you don't know someone, you don't know how to approach, how to talk to them. But the second he gets to know you, he's like, like this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fucking sick.
It's for me, I find it like very hard to connect with people on a certain level, and I can understand like if someone else is the same way, where
I get it. Yeah.
They're like, okay, like I've met this person, because like I don't typically, if I meet someone at like ardently or something, or like a bigger gathering, right? I will talk to that person that day, and I will never contact them again.
Yeah,
and that's just my personality. But
that's me. Yeah.
If this person and me like really like
we vibe. Yeah.
Because typically I feel like that doesn't happen. Maybe it's just because I'm like extremely harsh with people where I'm just like, you are not interesting enough to me that I can give a shit.
I get it. Yeah.
And like that, maybe that's just a bad personality trait on my behalf. Then yeah, I just like, I will never contact them again. Like, I don't care.
Similar, but more just because I'm pretty open. I think I'm the opposite of you. People flock to me and I like having conversations, but the negative part of that is that I have so many connections that I find it hard to keep those connections updated. So I default to being like, I will contact like 7-8 people max, and the rest I'm leaving it to you guys,
right,
to keep these relationships going, because I don't have the bandwidth to keep doing it. I have like let's see, right now I
like
have
for me, I am like, I have like 5, and those are the 5 that will keep up like all the time.
I currently have
else
I have 20 line messages. This is a slow day. I have 20 line messages and 3 Instagram DMs to answer, and I have 3 things I need to reply to on Facebook Messenger. Okay, this is a slow day. Sometimes that shit goes to 60 something lines, where I'm just like replying to people or deleting stuff or trying to just like sort shit out. It's just because like that's just like the kind of person I am. But once again, I leave it to them to sort of build those conversations, build those connections in a sense. So. And those connections aren't like dampened by my ability to speak Japanese. Once again, the opposite. The more Japanese I speak, the more people want to be connected.
Right.
It doesn't make it. It's really silly.
Yeah. And that I agree with you there. It sounds like you have a problem with your friend group or the people you know or your personality. Not you. In general, the guy. Where
he does.
Like, I've never ever had one of my friends be like, "Oh, I don't like this guy because he's smarter than me."
It's weird, yeah.
Right?
It's giving.
If you have that kind of friend, like that is like a weird toxic personality trait.
Yeah, it's giving insecure. I don't like it. Go to therapy. Last part of this paragraph, I find it very interesting. He says, "My Japanese friends." Pause. Cap. Fucking cap. My Japanese friends. You've already just said you don't speak Japanese. Your Japanese friends don't like you, and you're a boring cunt. But yet you have Japanese friends.
He does speak Like to me, he's implying that he does. He speaks Japanese well. That's how I took this. Was that I speak Japanese well now,
and no one likes me.
And when I talk to my Japanese friends, they say this guy Dogen specifically.
Yeah,
he's iki kimoi. I don't like him.
Yeah,
because he speak the good.
Yeah, he says my Japanese friends tell me people like Dogen make them cringe and feel revolted because obviously that's Japanese, and like why ask me never to speak like him, which is weird because Dogen himself said the complete opposite. And he's like, no, not in my experience. And then in me, like, talking to people and being like, has anyone experienced this? They're like, no. Like, why would I experience this? Doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, and I personally feel like he just made this up. I think he's just made this up because anyone who has that whole like, foreigners, yuck, don't like them. Foreigners speak Japanese, gross. Anyone who thinks like that wouldn't then be friends with you, a foreigner in Japan. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's. I want to know what those Japanese like people, friends of his, find so like
revolting,
quote unquote cringe. Like, it's like I could understand if, for example, I'll flip this to English, right? If you had a friend that you knew who always spoke like Shakespeare, I'd be like, that's fucking weird and cringy. Like, I get that, but like,
yeah, I'd bet cringe, bro.
I don't think Dogen is doing that.
No,
like, I don't know the guy.
He just speaks normal Japanese.
But he speaks Japanese to like a level where it's like grammatically it'd be like the equivalent of speaking the Queen's English, but like the actual Queen, like perfect grammar type of
he
stuff.
Speaks like every time I've met him, and from his videos and how I've met him, he just speaks normal Japanese. Like, he's not doing anything crazy, and it's not even like, oh, he's speaking in the Queen's English. He's just speaking like normal Japanese. He's speaking like how we're speaking now in English, but a little more polished because we'd be a little more like formal, and that's it.
Right.
And the thing is, he's not doing that in every video. It's not like that's not the videos he's making. Depending on the video he's making, the type of Japanese changes because the comedy and the stuff he's making requires.
He's trying to make a point in the thing. Yeah.
So and thus it requires like a different Japanese. So which is why it doesn't make any sense what he's saying. Which is why I believe the quote unquote Japanese people saying his Japanese is quote unquote iki gross kimoi. Okay, you think that happened? Prove it. Bring them up.
Sure, bring them up.
Bring them up.
Quote them.
You're saying that your Japanese are saying this. Cool. What are their ats? Bring them on the podcast. Let's talk to them. What are their ats? Because if you are so secure in yourself in saying that your Japanese friends believe this, bring them in. I want to hear what their points are. Because I don't care what you say. You're the messenger. Bring me the main source. Bring me the source. It doesn't exist. I guarantee it doesn't exist.
Yeah,
I guarantee it.
I've never had the opposite. I don't want to talk in circles, but I've never had the opposite in English where like, oh, someone speaks English better than me, ergo they're just like, ugh.
Yes.
It's
weird.
The thing that like annoys me of someone who speaks English better than me is also a pompous asshole. Like that's where I'm like, this guy's a dick. But that has nothing to do with their ability to speak English. That's just them being a dickhead.
That's just them being a dickhead. Yeah, very straightforward. You can do that in any language. Doesn't matter. Which is why I'm like, logically, this doesn't make sense. Like, it's silly. You're being silly. So, yeah, fuck you. He says, once again, the obligatory, I've been here for 15 years, and I've never met a super fluent foreigner who makes good money. Well, you've not met enough people here, clearly.
That, like, how much you make and how fluent you are, I think is pretty related.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that depends on so many fucking factors. Like, you could be on the cutting edge of some kind of, like, IT stuff. You would make so much more money.
The thing is, his point is completely invalidated by... I know one guy who like invalidates his entire point. Tokyo Portfolio. He's a YouTuber now, but before he was a YouTuber, he worked in real estate in Japan in Japanese. The man speaks fluent Japanese, not N1. The boy native. His Japanese is amazing. He's probably one of the richest foreigners in this country because it's fluent Japanese. And working in the realtor space, he can aim for any target. He can sell to anyone.
Right.
Because he has the abilities. So, like, this guy going, oh, I've never met anyone in my 15 I'm like, yeah, because you spent...
Because have you met everyone?
No.
No, you haven't.
Because he spent 13 of those 15 years fucking cooming in Toriki and, like, crying to his Japanese friends about having shit Japanese. Yeah, fuck you. Of course you don't know enough people here.
And if the only people you know are in investing, like...
Yeah, of course. Yeah, okay. He's like, listen, I've scammed 1 billion people in this new crypto scam. I'm calling
all the other
Bitcoin.
Dumb foreigners like me who don't know dumb Japanese. They're not rich enough to be smart. So
I guarantee,
we stay stupid on purpose.
I guarantee this is one of those guys who's like him or probably some other people in like the crypto space or the NFT space, and they were like, oh, we can scam all these dum-dums out of their money.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing I wanted to talk about because I mentioned about it earlier in the conversation, is that this post that you've actually sent me is edited.
Yes.
And he edited that last little line there.
I thought so.
About some kind of like...
crypto scam.
It's literally like a fucking crypto scam. So immediately I'm like, oh, you're just like trying to drum up some kind of support for your stupid horse shit.
I've clicked on it, and it definitely is a crypto scam.
It's called Levels.io.
It's called some bullshit. I'm looking through the thing now. Yeah, crypto scam.
Hang on. It's
blah. I'm scanning through.
Is it at Levels.io?
At Levels SIO.
Yeah, Level SIO. Yeah. So it's like portfolio reviews, photo AI stuff, interior AI. I make 48K MRR.
Oh, of course
Remote's
you do.
okay. Yeah, like, oh, here's which is weird. This person's followed by Chris Broad, so that's kind of strange. But
this is probably it was probably a different page, and then what happens is the page gets sold or hacked
to someone. Yeah, because here's the weird thing, right? When I looked it up on Google, do you know what I got?
What'd you get?
Level SIO. So this goes right to their following thing, and here's their description. As a big fan of GTA, I've made SanAndreasGPT.com an unofficial text adventure game.
There we go.
What does that have to do with investing?
But I reposted it. I made my first. I am my first video game with ChatGPT. ChatGPT generates text-based game. Blah 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 la 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 la. 2023. Yeah. So like this is probably one of those channels where it was probably owned by someone else at one point, and then someone's like bought or sold it or fucked it over in a certain way. So now like randos are following it. It's happened to me as well. Like my old YouTube follows people that do like weird misogynistic content, and I'm like, when did I follow this guy? And I click on his page and I'm like, I don't remember any of these videos. And it's like, oh, okay, this account has been like bought and sold basically. Like it's not, you know what I mean? It's not like the original account, which is why you have like so many influencers following basically. But yeah, he ends basically saying like foreigners are in a good position and doing interesting stuff. Are generally not fully fluent. Some speak but don't aim to be Japanese. Now here's my thing. If you're going to make the claim that foreigners in good positions are doing interesting stuff and don't speak Japanese, you now need to back up your claims. Who are these people?
I mean,
what are they doing?
I can understand from some angle, right?
Yeah, of course.
If you are making a shitload of money, who gives a fuck if you speak Japanese?
You don't give a shit? No.
Like,
yes.
Personally,
yeah.
Right? Like, if you're making like $20K a month or whatever other ridiculous amount of money,
yeah.
If you don't need Japanese, then of course you're not going to care if it's not a requirement for you to live and survive.
There was a response by someone, and they said something like, oh, I agree with this guy. Like, all the rich people I met in Japan don't speak Japanese. Mate, once again, because you don't have to.
Because you're rich.
Because you're rich. It doesn't... Money is a language in amongst itself. If I speak enough, if I have enough money, I can move to any country in the world and just hire someone to speak the language for me.
Right.
That's what interpreters do. Like, I don't need to learn the language. And also, if you have the time and you're making shit tons of money, you have all the time in the world to learn the language. So people like procrastinate on it because you're making a shit ton of money.
Yeah, you don't care.
It doesn't matter.
Like if it's not a requirement for you to make your living, then of course you're dumb and you don't know.
It doesn't matter.
You don't need to.
You don't need it.
Why would I learn Japanese if I don't ever need to learn it outside of like
hobbies
it's
or
fun,
whatever? Yeah.
Right? Like that's literally it. And then even then, if you're learning Japanese for fun, you're gonna learn it to talk to people, right? Like the claim is so just
ludicrous.
It's not that it's ludicrous, but it's just a bad opinion. Like
it is a bad opinion.
People are like, oh, there's no bad opinions. No,
we found one.
There's at least a couple.
There's a couple bad opinions, and this is one of them. And you can tell by the ratio. A lot of quote retweets, people dunking on him, and then in the end, he basically like deleted the text thread,
right?
And then like pivoted so hard to the left and just started texting. Started tweeting like financial tweet things instead because it was like, oh shit, the Twitter space is coming for me.
I mean, it's irrelevant, right?
It is, yeah.
The language debate, the thing that he's positing is irrelevant to how much money you make, in my opinion, right? You could be you could be fluent and an investor, or completely illiterate and an investor in Japanese. Obviously, you have to speak some kind of a language.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Those things are not inherently tied to business and investing.
No,
at all.
No, 0%.
Like I can live in Tokyo and invest in the American stock market, and if I switch my money over to yen or whatever, or I'm investing in Japanese companies, they'll let me stay in the country.
Yeah,
on a visa. They don't care.
They don't care.
Right?
It's about just like, is this person making money? Yeah. Is he paying his taxes? Cool.
Then cool.
I don't give a shit. Like, it's silly.
But to imply that, oh, all the rich people I know are dumb and don't know Japanese, I think that is a incredible misnomer.
It is.
Because being rich and knowing Japanese are two things that are not inherently related.
Not inherently at all, yeah. There were some good replies I got from the chat. One was saying, in the replies, one was it's cope because he himself can't speak Japanese and has no meaningful Japanese relationships, probably because he blocks all of us into he puts all of us into a monolithic whole and doesn't see Japanese people as individuals. I agree.
Right. Yes. Exactly. That's exactly what I mean. Right. When you paint with the broad brush of being like, oh, Japanese people think this way.
Yeah.
Who? Yeah. Who are you talking about exactly?
Who? Oh, he saw my reply. I didn't see this. Apparently he replied to me and I didn't even have a chance to jump in because people jumped to my defense instead. He said to me, It's like 4 days ago. No, this is like on the same day. Wow, bro, I fucking slaughtered you. He said, "Do you speak native level?" Wow, do you speak English native level? Do you speak native level? I'm talking about neither survival nor fluent Japanese. Those are fine. It's a line you cross when you speak and act and behave like a Japanese. Your English is bad. That's not well taken by the Japanese people. Ask around. Let me know what Japanese people think. And there's no reason to be rude. There's every reason to be rude because you started the rudeness first. You said some racist shit, my guy.
And then when you got hit, you're like, oh, I don't like getting hit.
I didn't even have a chance to dive in. Someone else dived in for me. Someone said, except your tweet suggests that only learning some Japanese in any regular conversation means not to fluency. A lot of people expressing puzzlement at your claim. Do you think perhaps you may have misunderstood one of your own experiences? Hilarious. I agree. Definitely someone went to him like Nihongo Joes and he went, "What'd you say with my mom? Japanese people hate me and the racists don't like it."
I wouldn't go quite that far. But I think the claim like, do you speak native level?
Yeah.
To ask that of any foreign person is he's trying to get you in a gotcha. Right?
No, it is because like even this guy replies like what I was thinking. It's not being rude here. It's a genuine question. Why would anyone behave like a Japanese person if you're not Japanese? If I became native level fluency in Japanese, I'd still act and behave like a London Irishman, as I'm proud of both cultures. I would never act Japanese as I'm not Japanese, and I agree. Right. Even if I got to native level Japanese and I understood,
and in my opinion, I don't even think that's like native level of any language is you need to be born and live in that culture.
Yes, you do. Yes.
From infancy to adulthood, right?
Yes. You can't study to native level.
No.
You
you can say to fluency.
Yes.
And I think that fluency is a very big band.
It's a massive band, yeah.
Of like how good are you? There's people who are fluent, like N1 fluent, right?
Yes. And there's people
who are way beyond that.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
But you're not native.
Because native implies so many things.
Yes. Native implies like understanding a level of like cultural, like weird cultural unspoken rules, and like you grew up watching the yearly prank program, and when someone says, "Remember that episode in 20 whatever," and they make references and memes, and you get the memes. That's native level. That's like a native level in the language basically, and like. In all of his posts, he doesn't say, like, native level. He says,
he never mentions native level once. So why are you bringing it up now?
Because he realizes he's fucked up and everyone's dunking on him so hard. And so he's like, oh, fuck, I've got to get out of this one. But, like, even if I, Jordan Green, half Welsh, half Jamaican, born in London, came to Japan at the age of, like, 5 years old, my parents would still be a Jamaican person and a Welsh person.
Right.
My backdrop being Japanese wouldn't change who I was. I'd still be me. So, like... Even then, being raised in Japan, I'd be native, but culturally, I'd still be what I am. It's like the kids who I used to teach in school who were like, one kid was cool. He was like half Indian, half Japanese. His mom was from Sri Lanka, I want to say. I can't remember for the life of me. But he's like, he's fluent. He was born and raised here. But when he says no, he does this. That's what his mom does.
Right.
It's
a learned, it's a subconscious learned action.
Yes, it's a subconscious he does things and he has like mannerisms that are very much from like the Sri Lankan culture because that's what he's learning at home. And while he's going to be like still native Japanese, culturally he'll still be Sri Lankan. And this person clearly doesn't understand that it's a big ask to make that jump for him on a culture in their head, and that can override certain things or overlap. Depending on like the situation you're put into. So like looking at his reply, him trying to like get people in gotcha moments and being like, oh, let's have no need to be rude. Let's talk about it. It's like gentlemen. It's like, no, suck your mom. Like legitimately, you came on Twitter with this bullshit and thought to yourself, I'm gonna drop this fucking hot steaming turd on Twitter and everyone's gonna lap it up like the ice cream it is. And it turns out people have eyes.
People are good. I think the audacity of thinking that people would agree with a take of
wild.
You should stay stupid and not learn a language. Like
imagine, dickhead.
Even divorced of anything else that he said, that take is so dumb.
It's so dumb.
It's so dumb.
Fucking idiot. What's funny as well is that, like going through my replies, I've not gone through any of these replies. I think I stopped when my post started blowing up a little bit. Like going through the replies. The vast majority, by vast majority, I mean like 99.9 recurring % are like, yo, is this guy fucking, what's the meme? Is this guy acoustic?
Acoustic.
Have you seen the fucking, legitly, just everyone's asking in some way or another, is this man acoustic? Because like legitly, it's like, I'm just flicking through, clicking any comment. People like this are the only ones that can't get along in society. I wonder why, and then wonder why while they're building barriers. Scroll. Stop. I hate when Twitter does this. Stop randomly. I think I experienced it a few times when I first arrived. I can't speak much Japanese, and people in the banks were more lenient. But now when I start speaking Japanese outright, then I can suddenly can't understand something. They get annoyed quickly. It's just in banks though. Weird. So this guy is like, I kind of agree with the poster that when I first got here, I didn't speak that much Japanese. They're more lenient, but now I can speak more Japanese. They're kind of like get on with it. But it only happens in banks, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, well, in that case, I can completely understand why that's annoying. Because if I went to a Chinese person and then was like, I start speaking in Chinese, and then the second they reply to me and just go,
huh? I'd be annoyed too.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, so you don't. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Now I have to like change my brain and figure out what's going on, right?
Yes,
It'd
exactly.
be like the same thing. Someone talks to me, like, be like, oh, I speak fluent English. I'm like, oh, cool. Like, what are you doing on the weekend? And they go, sorry, I don't understand English. Okay, well, what? How do I communicate with you now? Like, what do you want me to do? Okay, do I need to speak another language? Maybe I know that language. Maybe I don't. Right. So I can understand there's the frustration on that end of like, okay, now I have to switch gears. I thought that I was gonna go about this one way. Now I'm gonna have to
change everything
explain to you, like, because Japan is a land of forms, right? So like, if someone asks me, Nihongo daijoubu, and I go, yeah.
And then explain like directions,
and then they're like, oh, okay, you need to go get this thing and this thing and this thing, and I go, what's that? Then
you're
they're like, oh,
okay. Your Nihongo was clearly not daijoubu, and I made sure to ask you first to make sure,
because if it wasn't, then I would have explained a different way,
bro,
or maybe in easier Japanese.
No matter how fucking quote unquote Jozu my Japanese gets, if I'm in an official big boy shakusho bank situation where I've got to do some official documentation shit, and they go Nihongo daijoubu, I go, baby, take it slowly. Even if I'm like N1, big boy master, king of the foreigners, big crown on my hat, massive dick, best Japanese in the country, and I go into the fucking shack show and they're like, time to file these taxes. I'm like, baby, be gentle with me. I'm innocent and raw, and I don't know what's going on.
I don't know anything about taxes, and I definitely, like, even in English, if someone's like, fill in your Form 5 tax thing that is like a tax return to go to this place, I'd still be like, you said a lot of things in English, and I don't know what the fuck any of that shit is.
Simple as that.
So it's the same issue in Japanese.
Same issue in Japanese.
You said some shit, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
There we go. Like, it's more about a confidence. I think for a lot of international, it's about a confidence issue. If you're going to a situation like a bank or like the whatever, the immigration or whatever, bro, one, take it slow, and two, do not get overconfident. Don't think you can go in here dick swinging Japanese in hand. You can't. Like,
because the only thing you're gonna do is hit yourself in the face.
You get yourself in the fucking face, and no one wants dick in their face.
No,
unless to each their own. But anyway, like, legitimately, it's a situation that even in English you wouldn't do that. So why would you in Japanese? Basically, yeah. I could see. Final thoughts and feelings about this man's ridiculous fucking Twitter post.
Like,
hope his Twitter gets fucking hacked.
Sorry, it's very squeaky.
I'm squeaky.
Yeah, I think I will make the point that I don't think. No, I changed what I said. I know.
Yeah, let's go, baby.
That learning another language, whether you are beginner, intermediate, expert, fluent, native, whatever, is ever going to be a detriment to you in any way, shape, or form.
Agreed.
If there are people that don't like you because you are making some attempt to learn a language or learn their language or whatever, and are saying stuff like, oh, they're so good at this language, I don't like them. Like, that statement in and of itself is so unhinged and so weird that I don't want to associate with that person regardless of what language. Like, if they speak my native language or they speak my second language, I don't want to hang out with those people.
Yeah, I don't want to deal with
because that is such a weird hang up, right? It's extremely weird. Second thing I'll say is I don't think this would be our listener base at all.
Go on.
But people who have issues with learned skills from certain places that are like, oh, if it's not done by X person of this skin color at this time of day when the moon is high on a Tuesday night,
I don't want it.
It's not authentic.
Ooh, yeah.
It's super weird. Like, are you gonna tell any fucking Japanese like chef who goes to France for like 10 years, studies French food, comes back to Japan, opens a French restaurant? You really gonna go and tell that man that he doesn't know how to cook French food? Who the fuck are you?
On that note, one of my friends is she wins like baking competitions, like French baking competitions. She went to France for a while. She learned to bake there, came back to Japan, works for like a big like bakery company there. She's like the youngest and only female like high up senior manager in the company. She's like a year older than me, and she like goes to international competitions in France and fucking dog walks them around the bakery. She's a Japanese girl just from fucking Kanagawa, and she's dog walking these cunts to the extent where people send like junior chefs from fucking France and shit to Japan to learn how to bake the French recipe things she's coming up with. There's no one in France going, oh no, it's not real because it wasn't made by fucking Pierre Jean fucking Frog Legs. Like, no, fuck you, mate. Like, she's smashing it, my boy. Like, it's. You're right. This isn't an audience base. I'm not gonna go that hard. Yeah. You guys are fine. You guys are cool,
but I will say, like, those kind of people really fucking annoy me, especially if it's a comment made against someone who has put in the time and the work and who is very much more in tune with the thing that they're doing than you will ever be, right?
True. Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna come out against a person who's doing like, you know, they're from wherever doing ikebana and being like, oh, it's not done by a Japanese person, so it doesn't count, right? That is such a weird take if they've like dedicated a lot of time or more time than regular people to that
get
craft,
it done,
right? Especially if it's a learned skill. Things that aren't inherent, like, you know,
breathing.
Things like your skin color.
Yeah.
That's something you can't do anything about. You want to complain that someone is being racist because of your skin color? Cool.
Yeah.
Go fucking nuts. Because that's something
bro.
You can't control.
Get him.
But being like really fucking annoyed at someone who is doing something that is authentic and they just don't happen to be the race or from the place that it comes from,
so stupid.
It's fucking weird.
It's so fucking stupid.
It's
honestly.
such a weird thing to get hung up on.
I only have one thing. If I go to a taco stand, for example, and the guy's making tacos is like, I don't know, Japanese or whatever, my only like thought is, yo, these better slap.
Yeah. Are they good?
Are they good? Legit, same thing. If I go same taco stand and it's like a Mexican guy cooking, I'm like, great. Are they good? That's all I care about. Is the product coming out good? If it's good, I don't fucking give a shit. I don't care who's making. Could be a Korean guy for all I fucking care.
Yeah,
it's good ass tacos, bro.
It's in that case, to me, it's very weird. It's like, you know, that's where innovation is made.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Why are you trying to gatekeep someone's, like, for people who are supposed to be like hyper liberal and like super about like people's creativity, why are you gatekeeping so fucking hard?
I want kimchi tacos and I will not have you stop them. I will not have you ruin this for me.
Hang on. There are some things that should just never be made.
Nah, listen. You gotta try it once. It might bang.
That's the thing. Be willing to make that mistake. Right?
Legitly, it might
Let
bang.
people make that mistake.
It might slap hard. We can never know. My last things, same as David, like learning another language is never going to be a detriment to you, especially living in Japan. And no matter what this weirdo is saying about like, don't learn language because be dumb fun. No, it's not. Like,
because people won't like you.
Like the man is drier than a Ritz cracker. Ignore him. His future is clearly not that bright. Let him live his life, basically. Because when it comes down to it, you living in another country, you need to learn the language for various reasons. Little things like talking to people every day, but bigger things like doing like your taxes and shit. You need to learn languages, especially if you want to have like an interesting job in Japan, or you want to work for like an international company in Japan. You want to learn the language, or even little things like you're in Japan for a while and then you have to like go back to America or wherever you're from to like work there for a bit. The first question will be, oh, you lived in Japan for like 5 years? How's your Japanese? And if you go, no, I stay dumb, read this tweet, they'll go, oh, yeah. Security,
I make lots of money, so I stay dumb.
Security, get this man out of here. He's a dumb.
Oh, well, we were going to promote you to that job had you have got.
Yo, oh my God, yeah.
Had you become more proficient in Japanese, but seeing
Easy.
as that you haven't, I guess we're going to hand that promotion to someone else, right? Like,
Idiots,
it's like, it will only open doors for you.
Yeah.
And if there's people that have a problem with your fluency level in a language, those people are fucking weirdos.
I always think that if you are like fluent or native or like very good in a certain language and you're not using that skill, you missed opportunities. You know, use the skill to the fullest and keep learning,
or
like,
at least
other
help other people learn that skill.
Yeah, very
right?
much so. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, that's my last thought on this. I'm gonna stretch out. I've been sitting cross legs for like an hour now, boys. I'm gonna end it there. Let me know what you guys were thinking about this tweet. The tweet has been deleted, but I'll send screenshots in the Discord so you guys can read it for yourself.
Right.
Let me know what you guys think in the Discord, in the DMs, in the chat below. But until then, guys, I'll see you next week. Stay healthy, stay bright, learn Japanese. Bye. Hoorah. Oh, I'm gonna stretch out.